to an age when thought is free. From the age of Big Brother. From the age of the thought police. From a dead man. Greetings.
So, like, this is where it really was a very strange happening. She comes out there by the bathroom. So now the kitchen, like the counter and the lounge is one room. It's one of those flatlets,
Yeah.
and you can look into the lounge. And the two of us, are in the lounge, and she walks into the kitchen, and then she's like, I just bloody well hate this one ply toilet paper. Your finger goes right through it,
Okay.
and she's pointing like a middle finger like that directly at me, and it's like down to the knuckle. It's a brown. And I am just in shock. I look at my friend. He looks up at me, looks at her, and he kind of just dips his head in embarrassment. He's busy with the PlayStation setting it up. And I just, I look back at her and I just think, I just hope to God that she washes her hands because those patties looked really good.
Oh, good. Dude. Oh, nah.
You know why it's interesting? It was one of those moments where you get taught at home when you go out somewhere. You ask the person's parents, right? That's
Yeah.
like your second safety net is the people's parents. And then when you realize, oh, this parent might not have it all together, and now it becomes dangerous. And I've seen that multiple times growing up, dude. Is where the parents are a little bit out of control.
Yeah.
Especially
yeah.
when there's booze involved.
Dude, I've seen it
And you
even
go
with
like, huh.
like it's trippy, especially. Okay, I don't want to generalize and say African Americans, right? But it's just because that was my first experience when I was still in Berlin. I had this friend. Dad was a soldier, American soldier. There's soldiers stationed in Germany, still are. And his parents, his mom was like a Mariah Carey variety, like light-skinned African American, almost like a white lady. And they would sometimes have these crazy fights, man. So like we're
Yo.
sleeping. It's like it's either they're fighting rough, or they're like having sex rough. But either way, you're just like at the sleepover, and it's like, you fucking bitch, and it's like, and you're hearing like
smacking.
Yeah, like people are like getting physical,
you're
man.
talking about like domestic stuff.
Yeah, but I think they're giving it to each other. I don't think it's just one side, And
dude, it's normally like that, but continue. I have something interesting to say about
yeah, but
that.
I never knew that. Like I was like, geez, that's crazy. Like my parents are not like that. And then it was like smashing, right? And I was like,
right after or even during the fight.
Right? And I was like, geez, so that was my introduction to like Black Americans. I was like, wow, that's intense. But I mean,
dude, and then it shows you that like people are like they're not grown up. There's no such thing as adults, really. It's just older kids.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
And I mean, like right after puberty, like male or female. Once is it like that change happens? Because that to me is like sort of the biggest change. You're morphing into something else, right? And then from there, even into the 50s and 60s, it's that same person who hit puberty now, just later on. you'll see it a lot with these women, dude, and it's like you're 41 and you're still behaving like you're 14, like you're gossiping with your friends on school,
Mm.
and it's like, at what point do you become like some like responsible adult type of thing?
Yeah, but I
Because
mean,
remember,
yeah,
you get like kids, like even specifically these girls who they have to take care of like their dad who's on the bottle, and they literally have to pack in their own lunch, go to
yeah,
school, come back, take care of their dad who's just like wasting away. Um, the mom has left a long time ago, and like she becomes responsible then already.
yeah. I was gonna say that it's we're
And
not.
even before that, dude,
Yeah,
which is kind of even sadder.
yeah. I was gonna say because it's obviously I can't say I'm still on the. I'm still living. I'm still learning, and I'm not even nearly. I'm not even in my 50s, right? But I can see I know what you're talking about. You know, I see some people. Okay, first of all, I'll say this. In my opinion, obviously, people who have to deal with some kind of a cataclysm earlier in life, they tend to mature quicker. So even if you look at kids that end up in gangs or selling drugs or something like that, that's obviously not maturity. But usually it's born out of the need at home. You know, you can only not have bread at home so many times, not have the clothes that you like you have clothes with holes before you say to yourself, I'm going to do something. I can't get a job, right? So I'm going to resort to something like that, like selling drugs or something. Then they mature out of that, and then suddenly they're really a mature person, right? They understand what a fight is. They don't just get into arguments unnecessarily. They understand the value of money. They understand priorities. You know what I mean? It's that early cataclysm or crisis that has forced the maturing of the person. And often you find people who don't have that. They never are forced to grow out of their adolescence, right? They continue, and it just goes unchecked until they're 40, 50, 60, 70, right? So I'm talking about especially people who, and I know I'm generalizing here, but I've got specific examples in my mind that of people that I know, even now who are like 50. When they were 17, 18, they got a car. You know,
Oh yeah.
they were, they never had to work. They chose to work after university, right? Even what they studied, it was an open choice. Could have been anything, um, right? And then suddenly, when they get to 45, 50, they have like suddenly a midlife crisis, which is really just this crisis of I've never had. Ironically, it's a crisis stemming from the fact that I've never had a crisis. So I've never had to see who I really am. I've never been pushed to make decisions that are going to compromise possibly who I am and things like that. And like finding out these are my limits and this is where I go. Um, and it's sad, you know.
Dude, it's scary.
On that
Sorry to
note, I
cut you
can
off.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. So on that note, I would just say, as strange as it sounds, I'm glad for the for the bad that's happened in my life. I'm glad.
Dude, you have to be. And even what I've realized is that I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change anything because there's obviously, and I won't get into it now. Like I don't want to get too deep into it right now because I got some other things, like especially back on the domestic violence thing you brought up. I think that's quite a fascinating story I have. But you know, you don't know why these things are happening in your life. But you know, when you think about the person it makes you turn into, it's very hard to actually look back and say, ah, I wish I could go back 10 years. And then if someone says, okay, you can go back 10 years, but you'll lose everything you've learned so far. Ooh, that's,
Mm,
I don't know if I'll do that, dude.
yeah.
There's too much that's been learned. There's too much. It's a vast well of just gold that has been acquired. You know, it's that, you know, it's the diamond that was formed, the carbon that was pressed and pressurized. And now you're finding this diamond. And now it's like saying, oh, but you can go back, but you can't keep the diamond. It's like, I don't know. I might just take the diamond and run, you know?
Mm,
Regardless of what happens, I got this diamond.
mm,
But we can jump. But the whole midlife crisis thing, we can maybe touch on that later if you bring it up. It's an identity thing. It's a self concept thing.
yeah.
Because the identity that you were that has got you to this point is now it's worn thin. The mask has fallen. And now you're realizing you're starting, and that's the why it becomes tough, is because you start looking at yourself and you're like, well, I never looked at myself like this before. And then you start questioning, oh, but I still do this the same as I did then. And then you start overcompensating by buying things that maybe it keeps reminding you of the past. Oh, if I could just go to that party, you know, if I could just re-experience what I used to love, then everything will be okay again. And that
Mm,
obviously makes it go deeper and deeper. And it was something that was brought up to me the other day was, oh, let's go to a party. And I just kind of stood there in disbelief. Oh, like you still think that what you're looking for is out there somewhere. It's
mm.
not, you're going to be searching forever, you know? Uh, the Holy Grail is not out there. Um,
You're right,
but
dude.
yeah, yeah, sorry, maybe you wanted to add
No, no,
something
you're
to
right, man. I mean, if you're still going, it sounds like a judgment, but I suppose it is. If you're still going out every single weekend and you
yo.
have to go out, like not just, oh, my friends, I don't want to go, but my friends have invited me, so I'll go. But really, you need to go out, man, you're looking for something. And it's sad, bro, because I just feel like you should be finding at this point joy in like self-reflection, a good book, good conversation, um, real connections, right? Uh, you really should. I mean, going out can be fun, don't get me wrong, right? Especially when it's been a while and you go out to hear the music and you just want to like put your finger on the pulse of the world, right? That's my obsession, if I can call it that. Is just I like to now and again go out to a dance floor, although I only do it once a year when I'm, with the boys. Um, Go out, listen to music, and just get a feel for like, oh, this is where the world is at now, right? And then I go back to, but I can tell you, after like the second, third day, I'm like itching to get back home, man, right? And yeah, and be with the fam, or to have quiet again. And
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know, I don't
it's
know. Maybe I'm just an
look,
old man.
no, I mean, then I've been an old man since I was like 6 years old already.
Oh please, man! When we were 16, we were there.
I mean,
We were
six
there
years
like
old.
we were like Pinky and the Brain. Like, so what's it going to be this night, Mikey? And he'd be
Yeah,
like, we're gonna
try
take
to take
over.
over the world. Um,
Exactly.
no, no. So yeah, like we did do that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying even when I was at whatever place we went to, the club or the parties or whatever, there was always that point, and it normally came on the Sunday, where I
Mm.
would just get completely um, introspective. And I would go and everybody would always say, "Oh, he's giving a speech again," because it would always happen, dude. Uh, did I tell? No, I told you in the week. I didn't tell you on the podcast about my first, Alice in Wonderland experience and how I was giving the speech and the people were crying.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Now I remember something similar happened at a trance party where it was a Sunday session.
Outdoor transport,
Uh,
obviously.
Outdoor, had been there since Thursday because that was our trick.
Yeah,
Because the party officially starts on Friday,
yeah.
but the crew who set up the event, they will have a party on the Thursday
Mm.
because that's where they've put in the final preparations. But if you arrive there at night, you can get into that party, especially like if you have your ticket, they'll give you a band and stuff. And so you start partying from Thursday to Sunday, which is just
Mm.
crazy. I mean, don't even get me started on the week longs, but those are like specifically, what you're in for. When you think you're just gonna go for a weekend, but then you add like the extra day, and now you're going hard on the Thursday already. People are arriving on Friday and you gacked out. Like it, the thing, it can get intense. But so what happened was like I'm sitting there on the Sunday and I'm at some people's campsite. They've got all these chairs around. I'm sitting there. Now obviously there's dehydration, there's all kinds of things going on with me. I'm a little bit manic, I'm laughing a lot, just I've got that look in my eye, and I'm sitting there, dude. And there's like, I, I never know how these things, oh man, I got so many stories about this. I never know how it happens, how it forms, but I'll be sitting there, and then there's one person who comes and sits down, and then another two people come and sit. And I'll normally just start off with talking to the one person, and then they'll grab a seat, nodding like, "Oh yeah," and then they sit down, and then I start talking, and the next thing I kind of look up, and there's four people, and they're sitting down, and they're facing me, and
Yeah.
and then I kind of realize that you have this like sort of remote view of the whole
Uh,
situation, and I'm even sitting in like a certain posture, giving like a lecture, and I'm busy talking and I'm talking, and the one time, dude, there's like eight people in front of me, all sitting in chairs at this campsite, and I'm busy talking, and I remember I even started like tearing up and breaking out into tears, and everybody was just sitting there with bated breath, and I was just really getting emotional. I was talking about a friend of mine that had passed away a few weeks before that, and I was talking about how people, they come into your lives, and then it's almost like they don't it's they they become they like reckless, I should say, and but you've built up this friendship with them, and then now they're gone, and you're kind of sitting there with that weight. And I was explaining that to them, and people were in tears and stuff, dude. Uh, and
but
then I
that
just, I'm like, I got to get out of here.
but that's one of the things that I find most amazing. There's a lot of fake people that'll go to parties in general. Uh but you always, if you're on the right frequency, right? If you're just projecting like innocence and love and I guess just purity, I mean, purity in no matter what it is you're drinking or you're not. But if you just have this pureness, you'll just see, like, even in a dance floor, the right people just gravitating to you. And I can't explain it differently because you could have said hello to anyone, right? But it just so happens that the person you said hello to is, in fact, a very good person, right? And you can tell that, like, after a few exchanges, that this is actually a really good person. And then they're like, yeah, man, go to the bathroom. I'll keep the spot or whatever. And it's like, okay, I never asked you to. I never. But now everyone can feel. And then suddenly there's a group of 4 or 5 people that are all dancing together. They're all on the same frequency, you know? They're not overly into whatever narcotics. They're not overly into trying to cause mischief at a party. It's very interesting. I mean, of course, it's not surprising for you and I, but it's interesting that we can't measure that yet. You know,
Yeah,
science is, you know what I mean?
can't measure it yet.
Or at least we don't know how to measure it. I mean, frequency. I mean, go to a
Well, I mean,
scientist and
obviously,
start.
if you use like a EEG machine, which is a electroencephalograph, then you'd be able to pick up like waveforms, and so that would be interesting to see, like alpha, beta, theta, delta. That would be cool
Mm,
to check, but on that level, on that like subjective level, that would be interesting to see.
yeah, that would be
How
interesting. Have they
different
done that
different
before?
points on the dance floor like have a different frequency, and how the people all gravitate towards like energy,
Dude,
like
but that would be a crazy experience. I know it probably sounds like conspiracy, but I would love to do that. I would love to host a trance party or like a very nice party, right? Um, not in the city because you know in the city everyone is gonna come. You want something that kind of filters out people. So people who want to go 100 kilometers into a farm or something, or maybe you know, chances are greater that you're gonna find people who are willing to sacrifice to go to something like that. And then on the ticket bands, just have something that can measure that, right? And just measure
oh, so
everyone the
yeah,
whole time throughout the party and then see if they cluster. I don't know, it sounds like a crazy experience, but
like those things that measure HRV, which is heart rate variability,
mm,
where they wear it and then it just tracks them the whole time,
yeah,
and then the data all gets sent into the PC, and then you can actually check at certain times when certain things happen.
along
So
with
you'll
their
see it like,
locations where it was like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, like geotagging at the party itself. That would
yeah,
be interesting. Dude, I bet you at some point it would scramble the system
why?
where everybody's like things that they were wearing would just bug out. Because do you know like what a cicada is?
Cicada. I don't know.
Cicada, yeah.
I've heard the
It's
name,
this
but
bug that
yes,
it makes that sound.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's like very high frequency sound, and when they're all together, it's this loud like hum and buzz. Uh, but so when I was in the film industry, we obviously worked out in all these different locations, and there was this one location where there was a lot of cicadas. And every time you try to speak on the radio, when you got close to them, it would mess up the signal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so people would like they would know where you were just based off of why can't I hear you properly on the radio? Oh, he's there. And it just happened to be that was where the tuck shop was.
Okay.
So we know you off at the tuck shop getting coffee, or remember, because everything is free on the film set.
Hmm.
So you can just go and grab whatever you want,
I wonder if a homeless
and
person could just like
you'll just
end up
act
there.
as if they.
Yeah. Like, you know, you just
Dude,
get onto the
it's
set and
one of
then
the craziest experiences ever. Imagine being at a a party, an outdoor festival, but with the same people, which is the crew and obviously the actors and stuff. And obviously, people are elevated there because there's a lot going on behind the scenes. And but you're working.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting experience.
That's what it feels like.
And you're working for like 6 months. That's literally what it is. We've sat there, like when we're on break, and they like, sometimes you get a rare break where it's like, okay, guys, we're gonna have to chill for an hour and a half because something is wrong with some rig and they have to get it sorted. And we sat there, dude. There was like four of us who became friends. One of them was my ex, and we sat there and we looked around and we started, and how people start playing. That's what you'll notice with these, because people in the film industry, they're all nuts, dude.
Playing what?
That's why
Like
I
just
was. No, it's like you're only in there because you're the type of person who would be in a circus or something.
yeah. I get what you're saying.
It's
Yeah.
all the same type of people. Even the people who are actors.
Yeah.
You're insane. This is
Yeah,
why you want
especially, I
to
would say.
pretend. You want to pretend to be some character. Like when you see Denzel walking there and stuff, make no mistake, he's cut from the same cloth that I
Yeah.
am.
I always
He's
try
got
to
weird stuff that he does that nobody knows about, and only close people know about him.
You're like, yeah, that nigga is cool, calm, collected. He will just as easily do, like, I don't know, Evita of the desert, Queen of the desert. Like, you know what I mean? Like most
Yeah,
actors.
exactly. And he's probably done plays where he's been some weird character. And so we sitting there and we're looking back, and we all have the realization at the same time. Like, we're some of the weirdest people ever. And you in that moment, it's kind of very scary. You have the self realization, like, oh, I'm officially a weirdo because I'm really enjoying myself around a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah.
Because it's what we just spoke about, like attracts like. Energy will gather in the same place. So the people who all work on film sets are all these lost people in life who, well, I say lost, but I mean just in terms of your normal, if I'm working a 9 to 5 and I've
Get
got to get home to
serious.
Marge,
Yeah,
and you got to get serious, young man. All the outcasts go into these fringe places of work, and the film industry is one of them.
Yeah.
And even Adrian, before he jumped off that bridge,
Adrian.
Yeah, Adrian is like, he was kind of a friend in the film industry.
In Cape Town, you
and
knew him.
yeah, and he even had a daughter, dude, and he ended up jumping off, what's that bridge, man? In the Titicaca forest.
He was
It's a very
depressed or
famous
something.
bridge. Yeah, dude. I mean, was like, and he was an older guy, but it's like in the film industry, you can't really tell someone's age because everybody's young. Everybody has that youthful thing. You can be an old man, and the way he's moving and talking, it's like, oh, he's still a kid on the inside.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the film industry it's got like that Peter Pan syndrome thing, which my views have changed on that slightly, because when you go to like a party, outdoor festival, and then
So just
everybody
to-
goes back
Yeah,
into being a kid.
Mm-hmm.
No, what did you want to add?
No, I
Maybe
thought I
can
wanted to give
clarify.
some context regarding, because I know what you mean when you say my perspective has changed on that. But if anyone wants to know, we spoke about it once before.
Exactly.
But continue. I have a caveat, or I have a
Yeah, exactly, which is
continue.
good. So when we go to those festivals and stuff, and then everybody becomes childlike again. We're having fun, we're swimming, we're running, we're climbing trees, we're dancing. Uh, and then that's why everybody becomes such good friends. You know,
Mm.
a lot of releasing is taking place.
Yeah, a
And so
lot.
now we expect that, oh, once you're in the normal world, and there's no time for that. And that's the thing. It's someone who knows that they have that in them, who's like a manager or a boss. Says, hey man, get serious. And it's because they are just suppressing that part in them that wants to laugh and have a good time as well. Thinking that you you can't get work done if you do that.
Oh, sorry.
It's misguided, you know. It's just not true. Actually, more work gets done when you're having fun.
Yes.
But yeah, you wanted to add your caveat to it.
Yeah, because I think it's easy to get confused because we'll say things like people aren't growing up, um, people aren't maturing. But remember, first example, you can have a mature child. So being a child
Exactly.
or being mature doesn't mean that you stop laughing. In fact, I would say it does. I mean, it means you laugh, right? Like you're still laughing, you're still smiling, you're forgiving, you're living in the moment. But that's not childishness, it's childlike innocence. It's not what people are doing wrong, in my opinion. On my opinion, you know, allegedly, it's it's that it's the pettiest of the child like aspects, right? So, for example, a child um, doesn't necessarily know its own strength. So when kids get in a fight and another kid gets injured, right, like a tooth broken or something, that's because a kid doesn't realize that actually a foot can do terrible damage, especially if it goes to the wrong places. But then when a child does understand that, a child will still play and laugh and dance and act and perform and have a vivid imagination, but it just will understand its responsibility. So that's not what I am speaking about. I don't think that's what you're talking about when we say uh, people aren't maturing. I
So
don't know
you
if I'm
said
being
something
so,
key, right?
yeah,
So you get childlike and then you get childish.
yeah.
Those are I think that's the distinction, because childlike is just light, but it's not throwing away all responsibility like being childish is.
Hmm.
Um, and I could just be making that up, but it just sounds good
It's all
nonetheless.
made up. Don't forget, all words are made up, right? Like Thor said in when he was like never, he said
Exactly.
never delia, and then someone said that's a made up word, and he correctly said all words are made
All
up,
words on it.
right?
Yeah,
We're
Chris
trying to,
Pratt, Star Lord.
yeah, we're just trying to find the way to express what's in here in our minds, in our hearts. Anyway, continue. Yeah, childish
Yeah,
versus childlike.
so just to take it back to the first time we spoke about it, and I still agree with that, Peter Pan syndrome, because it was the setting. We were speaking about how I was out and I was listening to all these conversations and how grown men who have children and stuff. The one guy even like shouted at his daughter, dude, and I just kind of like stood back in disgust in a way. I didn't want to judge, but you know, his daughter comes up to him, just I don't know, looking for attention or something. But he's there standing with his buddies, and when I say his daughter was there, I mean this was at an event where there was families and stuff. This isn't at the club.
Okay, yeah, okay, good,
um,
okay.
just to clarify that. So she comes up to him and dad, blah blah blah, whatever she asked, and he just like snaps at her, Where's your mom? Just go ask her, please. So that he can get back to talking about how, he was wasted last night and he got home way too late. And now that to me is kind of that Peter Pan syndrome of, bro, you're a father and a husband and you're acting like you're one of the kids, you know?
The way I would
That
say it is, sorry, I know I'm jumping in, but I just had this picture is that maybe it will help if we see ourselves as children, but just the older kids. So imagine, how would you behave if you were 12 again and there's a 6, 7-year-old kid and you have to
6'7".
6, 7, 6, 7
Dude.
terrible song. But like imagine you're 12 again and there's a 6-year-old kid and your parents and their parents are like, yeah, you guys play together. Now you're still a child. You still want to play. Like you're still interested in playing catch, maybe hide and seek, you know, uh, doing something on the jungle gym. And you would take care of this younger kid. You know what I mean? Like you would still have the childlike innocence towards this kid and play with them and engage with them and lead them in playing. You understand? So that's what you are when you're a father. Like, I think it'll help if you think of it like that. Don't think, oh, this is stupid. You're not making sense. It happens, right? Like sometimes, if I'm especially, but yeah.
So here's something I will say to that. Now, obviously, I have 3 brothers.
Yeah.
We know this. I'm the second eldest, and so I've always had 2 younger brothers. And our older brother, he was always off on his own thing. So I had to be the older brother to my 2 younger brothers. And we think about it. This like this was a time where it was interesting, white people, colored people. There was an integration that started taking place. And, in the neighborhood, you would walk around, and you would meet all these different people, a lot of different kids in the road. And I I had to lead them, the 2 of them. And we were attacked, dude, from all kinds of people, even like colored people. I got into a fight once, very quick fight. I didn't even know how old I was, 11 or something. We were in the colored neighborhood, which we know very well. We'll call it the Star.
Venus, the evening
and-
star.
And we had just got our hair cut, and we were waiting on the corner outside the guy's house, because this is just, you cut your hair in his garage. You might have even cut your hair there once. Like most people of, a browner skin would cut their hair there.
Because there was no other real place to cut your hair, yeah.
Yeah, and he cut hair, and this guy would have a permanent cigarette in his mouth, cut your hair, and just blow smoke all over you, dude. Which was interesting. And so we were standing on the corner outside of his house and waiting for like our dad to come fetch us. And there's these 3 colored guys who come walking up, and some like around our age, we all close together in age. And like the one guy who's like the leader, he starts kind of saying stuff. And now, so this is what I'm talking about. I've always had to be that person, because even if I felt intimidated, I've got my 2 younger brothers.
You got to stand up.
So
You've got to regulate the
I've got to be
situation.
the guy.
Yeah.
Like regardless of how I feel about anything, I can't be made to look a fool here, because I have to be the tough guy, And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, who, not to knock anybody who doesn't, but when you have like those types of siblings, like, you got to grow up kind of fast, especially in terms of these roles of, oh, I'm a protector, I'm not just a brother, I'm like, I have to protect these guys, I have to put my life on the line for them if something happens. And I remember there was this, he starts getting in my face. I think it was, he was talking about the school we went to, because we were wearing our school clothes. And I remember I looked at them and they looked at me. They didn't know what to do. And I was just like, enough is enough. And I just pushed this guy and he flies, dude. He flies off of his feet and he actually hits his head on the pole of the stop
Yeah.
sign. Bing! And like, I even got nervous because I didn't know he was going to fly like that. At that point, I did every single sport in the school, but you don't really know how strong you are, as you said earlier. Kids don't know how strong they are. And I push him, and he
And the
flies there.
core is
Bing!
good. He's still got a good core. That's the thing you never
Dude, very
underestimate.
strong. Hockey, cricket, soccer, swimming,
Yeah.
everything. Just like, that's why I have so much power in my right hand. But anyways, so then he kind of falls like this, and he's like grabbing his head, and then like my brother says, "Oh, here comes my dad." So I was like, "Oh, thank goodness." Uh, but as I turn like this, I just feel like someone like tapped me on my head or something, and I look back, and this guy ran and he punched me on my head, and it didn't even feel like anything. He's like this. He was a tall guy, but so thin and scrawny. And then when I turned to them, they just bolted and ran away. Um, and it happened as well when in the neighborhood where there was a lot of these like white girls like come out and try to be sassy and stuff. And I remember one time I had this knife. I know it sounds so stupid. Dude, I
Yeah.
was probably like 8 years old or something, 7 years old. I was
And you had
very
a
young.
okapi. Or okapi.
I took a knife. This like I remember it had this wooden handle, and it pulled out like
Yeah.
that. And I took the knife because there was all these kids in the road, and I knew how they would talk. They would always try say stuff about my hair or whatever. Like I'm adopted, or they would always have some of these comments. And it would be interesting to see like who those people are today. But anyways, so like you had like a lot of these white girls, and they would always talk about their dad's money. My dad's richer than your dad, and
Oh,
that was always their
really?
talking point. And so I remember I walked up to them. I was walking to the field with my two brothers, and I took the knife out, and the one girl's like, "What are you gonna do with that?" And then I was like, "Oh, dude, just I think about how stupid it is." My answer to her was, "Oh, we caught a rat, and I'm gonna kill it in the field." And they're like, "No, you didn't." And I'm like, "Yes, I did. I got it in a cage that I made." Dude, I was making this stuff up to be cool,
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
front of my brothers. But that's just how kids are.
Yeah.
So I always remember having to be that guy who had to stand up to people,
But you
which was
see,
interesting that it didn't translate to myself. I would let people just like kind of bully me. But if you're doing it to someone else, like, I'm going to step in.
yeah, yeah. I yeah.
But I did want to ask you, like, when was the first time you drank alcohol? That's an interesting question.
First time. No, I'll never forget. Was I was well, like properly drank. I mean, there could have been a chance where I swiped like a sip of booze or something. You know how it is when you're with cousins and then it's like, ooh, look here, they left a bit of wine or something. Like, smell it, taste it, and you're like, you know, like that could have happened already when I was 11, 12. But 14, um, there was someone at the school who had a party, and I went, right? And none of my closest circle was there, but I knew the girl. They knew me. Everyone. It's from the school, right? We're a relatively small school at the time, and I showed up. I'd been invited, but I think it was like forgotten that I would come, right? And then I came alone, as out of my group of friends, because I was a bit nerdy. I was nerdy, right? I was in more nerdy group. Lots of sports, but nerds, right? Um, Pokemon, Magic, whatever. Talking about like latest science news and stuff like that. And I went there, and I'll never forget. The one girl was like, "Oh, Nguni's here," like really surprised. And then I just started. It was amazing. It's a beautiful house, bro. It's like a triple story there in Cape Town. You know, like you can see the whole city and like the sea in the distance a bit. And I didn't even spend that much time with my schoolmates, but there was another group of kids who were there. You could tell they're not from our school. They're already smoking weed. They're already doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And they just started pouring vodka for me, and I was drinking there with them. And we just started talking. Like I just started hanging out with them, talking with them. I could immediately tell like these kids are way naughtier than me. Like we're the same age, but these kids are way naughtier. They were like South African kids, right? South African white kids. And and we were these clean laced kind of I told you it was the German school, so it's like we're in South Africa, but we're not in South Africa kind of thing. The way that
Yeah,
we behaved and everything, and I think the guy even like gave me a pipe of weed or something like that, and I just like smoked this metal pipe.
crazy.
So like all in one night, and it was a blast, man. And that was the first time when I really um drank, and uh very interesting time. A very interesting time. That was my first time.
So okay, well, I'll
What was your
also
first
say
time?
mine.
Yeah, say it.
Okay. Oh, thanks for asking. No, I'm joking. No, so I remember the first time I ever sipped something very clearly. It was like basically down the road, and so I was pure dude, probably 8, 9 years old, and my friend he was younger than me, and so
How
the
old?
way I who him.
You.
Oh, I was like 8, 9 years old,
Yes. Okay.
and my friend was like 6.
What the
And
flip? Okay. Continue.
yeah, so the way I like grew up was you walk straight into your friends' houses. Um, so I walk up to the gate, I open the gate, I shout at the dogs, I close the gate, the main gate, or I even just jump over. You open the front door and you walk in. You greet the parents and stuff,
Mm.
and then you walk to your friend's room. That's how we grew up. All the kids in the neighborhood, you
Yeah,
would
I
basically
remember
do
that
that.
as well. You could even get into your friend's house and you realize no one's here. Like, what the heck? And then you
Exactly.
try to chill a few minutes and then you leave.
Yeah.
Good old days. Anyway.
It's yeah. And so basically I walk in there and I go through the back door because sometimes, you'd go through the back door or you go through the front door. So this time I went through the back door, which goes straight into the kitchen. So I walk into the kitchen and his dad leaves, like leaves the house. So I'm in the kitchen there and he's standing there, but the dad had been drinking a Vintuk, a beer,
Mm.
and it was a can, and there was still like a little bit left in it, and he left it there on the kitchen counter, and my friend just casually walks up to it and like he takes a sip, and then he passes it to me, and I'm standing there and I'm thinking, okay, I know this is a beer, and I know I'm not supposed to be drinking it. And I took a sip, dude, and I was like, I was like, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted in my life, dude. Um, so that was the first time I actually tasted alcohol. Um, and that's why for a very long time, I was like, why would anybody drink beer? It's
Yeah.
so disgusting. But then the first time I ever like drank was weird. I was with my friend, and this is when I would go hang out in the colored community. So I was in grade 6. So I was like 10 or 11, however old you are in grade 6. Uh, yeah, 10 or 11 or something like that. And I'm talking about wasted. Like, that's what I mean by getting, like, the first time I drank like that. We get dropped at a youth. It's a Friday, and we're in the colored community. And he says, "Oh, there's this girl there that's his girlfriend or something." And so his parents drop us off there. We go to this thing. We even got tickets. Like a ticket was like 10 rand, so cheap, but you're still buying entry to this thing. But all we did was we went in, and we got these like 3 girls, and then from there we start walking. Now I'm new to these things because I'm not from those neighborhoods. I live in the suburbs, the white neighborhood, and obviously I can immediately tell that this is fishy. We were
Yeah.
dropped here, but now we're leaving, and you've told the lady, "Oh, we're going to be back," and stuff. And then we just now, and we've been walking so far, and it's nighttime, and I'm thinking, and I'm nervous because there's girls here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what's gonna happen here? And then I was even thinking, oh, one of these girls, my girlfriend. Oh man, it's so pathetic. Um, and so, dude, we walk into a crowded street, which reminded me of the place where I first started off, which was also a colored community, where everybody would just be in the street at night.
Mm.
And there's a lot of stuff going on that could be, bad as well. But so we walk into a road, and there's a bunch of older kids, and they talking about buying a bottle. And I was like, wait, what? Like, are we gonna be drinking? We had to give the money to the older kid, and this guy's like 14, 15, so that they can go get us a bottle of brandy.
Dude, I
And
have a
so
similar
now
story.
my heart is pounding, dude. I'm thinking, what? Dude, I swear they were even having a dog fight like close by, and they're listening to music out of the cars, and it was a rough time. But then we finally get the bottle. We get a Coca Cola. Oh, they gave us a Coca Cola as well and ice. And my heart is pounding, dude. And I'm walking, and we get to the girl's house, and she takes the bottle and she puts it through her back gate, right? And then we walk through the front of the house with the Coca Cola and the ice blocks, and we say hello to her parents. And then um, the mother was like, "Oh, are you guys gonna go sit in the back?" And we said yes. Well, I never said anything. I was quiet.
I can see
Get
you just the
glasses and
quiet figure in the back
yeah,
there.
just like.
Mischief, bro. Anyway, continue.
And then so we go to the yard, and it's quite a big yard, so we can kind of walk off a little bit further from the house, and we take the glasses out, and we all sit down there. They've got like there's let's just say there's chairs and there's seats outside where you can sit. It's not luxury or anything like that. And we grab the bottle from the gate, and we start pouring, dude. And I remember taking that first sip of that brandy and coke, and I was like, I remember everybody laughed because I looked at it, and I looked up at them, and I said, "Is this alcohol?" Like I was shocked that it could taste so good because of my experience with the
Yeah.
beer, like literally 2-3 years before that. And dude, I got so wasted, bro. And the biggest giveaway was I never spoke, right, to anybody's parents or anything like that. I was always quiet. Like you couldn't get a word out of me. They would ask me questions, and I would look to the ground and look at my shoes. Very autistic. And um, when we got picked up there, right? Because he told his mom, "Oh, we walked here after the event was finished," which was a lie. I was sitting in the car, dude, and I won't shut up, dude.
You keep
I will
talking.
not shut up. I
Uh,
was just talking, and they're like, the parents are laughing because they're like, "Why is Mikey talking like this? He never talks. You can't get a word out of him." And now I'm commenting on everything that's being said.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, like, obviously they figured it out. Oh, they're drunk. These grade kids in grade 6 are wasted. And like she even brought us hot chocolate and stuff.
Yeah,
She said,
that's
"I'm
true.
not going to tell your mom."
Oh, she said that.
Obviously, because yeah, because it reflects badly on them as
Of
well.
course, of course.
You
Like you're
know,
saying, my kids came to your place and now they're drunk. So how'd they get the booze? It's obviously your fault as the parent. Um, dude, that reminds me of this. Basically, a year later, grade 9. I went to. I was invited. I'm not going to mention names because I don't know if they're ready to share these stories or not. But it was quite innocent. They were like, but it was somewhere in Dumonte side or something, right? So like the back of yeah. Anyway, a
and
new area, a new suburb, and they were like, "Yo, um, come through to the house, right? We're having like a little get together." I get there. It's a dry get together. Right now, I haven't had a lot of experience with parties and booze, but I did have that one experience I told you about when I was 14. And I was like, guys, this is kind of boring. Like, let's get a few ciders or something, right? And we got cash together, and I was like, I know where we can get ciders. Morning Star, Evening Star, sorry,
the star.
the Star, and which is trippy because we obviously didn't live in there, but it was like the ghetto in the suburb. And yeah, dude, I just, me, I'm not scared of walking. I walked there to 14. I knew that there was like a gate or somewhere where you can get it, right? Or I think I even went straight into the shebeen. Person must have known like this is a kid, whatever, right? Because you're black, they tend to be like, I can't tell, I'm not sure, but like this
Yeah,
guy definitely
but
looks.
they sell it to you
They
anyways,
sell
like
it to you
just to
anyway.
show like you're not gonna get in trouble. Like no parents are gonna pull up there. You sold
Yeah,
this to my kid.
exactly. It's a shebeen in the first place, probably legal, and you go there, get like maybe it was 5, 6 of these 750 ml ciders. I think it was Reds or something. Go back
Oh, the
to.
red.
Yeah, that
Yo.
was perfect because it's still sweet, and so, and I get back
Or you get the
there,
Smirnoff.
or Smirnoff. I think that was, I can't remember exactly, but one thing I remember is Reds. And get back to this house, and we start having a few drinks, and now I'm drunk there, and I had a crush at the time on this girl, and I start like confessing my love to this chick, and dude, it was just so funny, man.
Huge
Like,
mistake.
yeah, of course. But you know how it is, man. When you're 14, 15, like you're not. You know how it is, man. I don't know. Socially awkward. Suddenly you've got liquid courage in you. Um, plus you're the guy who arranged the booze because, like, no, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, just fun, interesting times, man.
Dude, when we were think about this, like when we would go and buy booze, and obviously we were underage, uh, you would always go in and by yourself. I would like go hide on some street corner somewhere, like as far as I can from the place.
Yeah.
And then I
You,
always remember looking at you, like, did you get? did you get? And then you just like the stoic look forward and then like the little nod. And I'm
Yeah, like let's get out of
"Son."
here. Like, just
Yeah,
let's
you just
dip.
like walking ahead, but it would always work.
But dude, what was wrong with me? That's the thing. Like, no one taught me this. Like, what is wrong with me that I
You'd
just
always get us to booze, dude.
looking
Always.
for mischief, bro? I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't
Dude,
know.
wherever we went, the bag on the back, there's a brandy or something and a Coca Cola.
Just praying that the cops don't stop us because, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all not
Because I
allowed.
remember what happened at that time. There was like a huge fallout with me and it's interesting you say that because I was in grade 8 when you were in grade 9.
Yeah.
And that's when we like started even maybe no, I don't think it was grade 7, but it could easily be,
I think it was
I
grade. I
don't
think it was grade 9. Like, yeah, and
when you were
maybe
in
we
grade
don't know.
9.
We could be. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is I don't know the timelines
Yeah.
because remember you went with me to youth, right? Remember
Yeah.
where we met her,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
who
Yeah.
shall not be
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
renamed.
I remember.
Now, to me, that reminds me of grade 7,
No, we
where
were
you were
definitely
in grade
already.
8.
No, we were teenagers. We were teenagers. That's
No,
why
no,
we
but
would hang out with them.
remember, grade 7 is teenage. Grade 7 is like 13, 14.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
So, and I don't remember going to that place when I was in grade 8. But we would go there and we would like smoke cigarettes and stuff. But anyways, there was a big fallout, and I was always in these big friend groups ever since I was a kid. I'd have a lot of friends. I remember they would come to my place, and it would be like Mikey's friends are here, and my
Mm.
parents would have to get boxes and boxes of pizza and stuff to feed everyone. And there was like a big falling out with a girl and like actual gangsters, like legitimate, like how you are at my school, who came and threatened me. I took a couple of punches myself, and it was just it was a necessary experience to break away from. Oh, like I can't. When it's interesting where life will do that thing to you where it knows you're supposed to go off on your own, but you
Mm.
keep sticking to the group for like
Mm.
safety. And then it's like consciousness itself will kick you out. Some event will take place that'll force you out, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was embarrassed, in front of the people who I was friends with. Like years before all these other kids were here, we were friends. And you just allow all this stuff to happen to me. Um, and then that's when you sort of arrived, and then you were like showing me a different side of life. Like,
Complete note of
nah,
bad rotten
there's
apple.
things happening. There's things happening here in the neighborhood, and yeah, just come with me. And then we go walk, and I just start seeing this other side of life that had been there under my nose. And I remember one of my friends, because then we started going to house parties, and we've had this topic before, so I don't need to go into it too much. But there was a freedom that we had, where we would climb through your window to get back into the room. It's like your parents are there. We tell them, "Oh, yeah, everybody, we're going to bed," and then we
Yeah.
wait, and then we jump out the window, and we go to a house party, and we're gone for like early
Hours,
hours of the
bro.
morning,
Yeah.
and then we come climbing back into the room, you know.
Uh, that
So
was the
we were
best.
doing that stuff, and those friends that I had weren't doing that. And so when they would come around, they were like, "Oh, I've got to tell my my caretaker parent, whoever was guardian who's looking after them. Oh, I've got to tell them that we're walking to this house that's on the other side of the road to go to this party.
Like,
And I
what?
remember in that very moment, I looked at the situation and I was like, I'm like, I've gone beyond where you are.
Yeah.
I used to be in that thing where you're asking for permission and all the stuff. And now we're just free. No, we're going to the house party. We're not asking for permission from anybody.
That's the last thing you want, actually, because we
I
don't
don't
know
want to let
what.
them know that I've left the house. You
Yeah.
see?
Yeah. I wonder what that was, man. I think I was a restless youth. What's interesting is that at school, I was straight laced, right? I didn't bunk classes. I didn't go and smoke cigarettes with the other kids, like in break time, because you know how there's always kids at school that are like smoking somewhere in some corner. They have to smoke the cigarettes. They have to smoke weed at school. You know, they're always getting into fights there. At school, I was straight laced. And then suddenly on the weekends, I'm there, as you said, the red bag or blue bag, insert bag. There's always a bag that
Orange
carries
bag.
it carries a sweater, booze, cigarettes, lighter, everything that you need for mischief and more, maybe some
And you and
firecrackers.
your rollies, dude. You were like one of the first people I knew who was always going on about rollies. And even those
Yeah.
things that like that
That,
little mechanism that rolls it for you.
yeah.
You were doing that like an old man. I was like, but you'd roll like proper ones.
Yeah.
So I'd always be like, I'll have one, you know.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
you were doing that back then, dude. Before it
yeah.
was like cool.
Yeah. It's trippy, man. Man. Anyway, have you
But I wanted to
yeah, I wanted to
what?
ask you about this rabbi dude that I
Oh
saw
man, don't
who owns
don't
Pornhub now or
sour the
something.
conversation with a rabbi. No, I'm
Sorry,
joking.
I just want to hear your opinion on that. I mean, I heard there's a rabbi who,
Which one, dude? There's a few.
the one who, Solomon something, he,
Friedrich.
yeah, he bought or he owns the company that bought a part in Pornhub. And
Yeah.
I mean, for anyone who doesn't believe that, I mean, I can quickly, what? Rabbi who
Look, I mean,
owned.
online it's pretty well known,
Is
but I'm
it?
sure there's obviously. Yeah, no, like, but what I'm saying is something I've realized is there's the internet world, which I basically live on, and I've been living on it since for years already. And then you get normal reality.
Oh,
So there can be very popular people who are viewed by millions of people. But then I go down the street and I ask someone, do you know who this is? And they have no idea about them. So online, it's known.
mm,
But, you know, yeah, you can ask your friend about any of these things. Dude, I could even ask someone I know, do you know who PBD is? And they'll say, no, I don't.
yeah.
And then if I start explaining a little bit more, then they'll say, oh, I think maybe I've seen a clip of that guy. You know, their podcast where they all sit on panel like that.
Mm,
Um, so it's interesting. Like even the other day, I was asking, I was like, oh, do you know who Clavicular is?
yeah.
And like they just had no idea. And I was like, oh, yeah, right. I keep forgetting that this is internet stuff.
Yeah, it's clavicular is also a little bit niche.
Yeah, he's the looksmaxxer, but it's more in like
Very diseased.
in the
Very
streaming
diseased
world.
mind. Very diseased mind. I think so. I don't want to judge, but like looks maxing, brother, it's so, and also the extent to which it goes, right? So I mean,
The
there's a
bone
first
smashing.
there's the first level where you apply cosmetics, right? Makeup. Oh, actually, some might even say it begins before that, putting lotion on your face. Now, there I don't agree with. I don't think that's wrong because your skin needs nutrition like all the other parts of your body, right? So, lotion is just, you're just taking care of the biggest organ of your body, right? It needs this. If your skin is flaking and stuff, you're not healthy, right? It can bring so many other diseases. You just don't need that. But then you've got cosmetics, makeup, uh, people, you've got women, especially I see it these days. I don't remember it being so prevalent when we were in our teens, but today I see people can't be older than 12 putting makeup on. They've got full makeup base with the little shadowing to make the nose look a
Contour and
certain contour,
everything.
exactly, make the nose look straight and all of that. And first of all, I think that's stupid because I have several reasons. I mean, it's not your face. Be proud of who you are. Be who you are. Um, some people are more good looking than others. It's just the way that it is. But I think that the most attractive thing about a person will always be their comfortability in their own skin as they are, right? Uh,
Yeah.
and then you've got the other extreme, which is looksmaxxing, where people are smashing pieces of their skeletal structure, right? Self-harming to try and look a certain way. I think there's a real sickness in the boy's heart, man. Uh, well,
Like,
yeah.
I'm just losing a bit of connection, I think, with
Oh,
you.
really? Sorry. Um, but yeah, but what do you think on that whole looks maxing? I mean,
No. So even think about this with exercise is looks maxing, right? So as a kid, you would play a bunch of sports, and this is where the whole jock thing comes from.
yeah,
You know, the jocks are the bigger guys, the rugby dudes, the soccer dudes. They're in good shape and stuff, but it's just a symptom of playing the sport. When you go to the gym specifically because you like, oh, I want a bigger chest, oh, I want some big arms. Like, you're in that looks maxing thing. Because now you're not just doing it because now you're not getting strong because it's something that you just do. And like, if you're a rock climber or something and your hands are just extremely tough and you can do like 200 pull-ups, now that's just, like I said, it's maybe symptom isn't the best word, but I'll use it anyways.
a consequence. Yeah,
Of,
it's yeah,
it's just it's an after effect of something you've been doing because you're focused on the rock climbing or you're focused on playing rugby. So if you're doing strength training, it's because it has a specific use. Um, then you get the whole bodybuilding thing, which is all aesthetic, which is
yeah,
all just
yeah,
straight up look at me. Literally,
yeah,
that's what it is. Look at me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
I
that, that's the whole sport is I'm going to be there in a tight Speedo. I'm going to
yeah.
do blackface. And then I'm going to like pull my muscles in a certain way. And people are going to say, oh my gosh, the elastin in his skin is so tight. It's really showing
So
his
tight.
pectorals,
It's so
you
tight,
know?
dude. The thing is, look,
And it's actually homoerotic if you really think about it.
it is. Look,
And then you've got, so that's, and then you take that, and then you have a guy who wants to impress other people. So he goes to gym and works out so that he can take his shirt off in a place and be like, hey, look at me, I've got abs, I'm strong.
yeah, yeah,
But you can see the difference between a person who's an actual athlete who's it's a byproduct of what the work he's been doing. He doesn't even care about it. He's just used to being that.
Oh, have we lost Mikey? Oh man, Michael, have we lost you? I believe we may have lost Michael to the connection issue. Yeah, so we had that little interruption. I don't know what.
I don't know. Wait, like I was talking about clavicular and stuff. That's what we were actually talking about. Um,
Yeah, exactly. Looksmaxxing and all
Bone
that.
smashing and all that. But you never told me the last thing you heard me say before I disconnected.
I've even forgotten, bro. You know, like all the best things in life, you don't try to carry on where you left off. Just start a whole new tape. You know what I mean?
It
Because that's
sounds
what
horrible.
sounds horrible.
Um,
That's how it is, bro. Like, yeah.
I don't know about that. But what I'm saying is I was saying that even working out just for the aesthetics
Ah,
is looks bad.
yes. Exactly. Yeah, no, I shared a bit like just before you just after you went, like I shared a bit on my opinion on that. When you go to the gym, right? You see different personalities, right? You see someone who's overweight, obviously trying to get into shape. You see people who are focused more on fitness, right? In terms of like they're more on the treadmill, or on the elliptical or the bicycle or something with light
Cardiovascular.
cardiovascular, exactly. Um,
And
uh,
you get skinny people as well trying
you
to put
get
on muscle.
you get skinny people trying to put on muscle, but those are too. That's too granular. What I want to break down is you basically have people you can see all they want to do, even when they're working out, is they're just looking in the gym, in the mirror. They and they keep posing like in between and stuff. And obviously, I don't think.
It's
And then there's
vanity, of
it's
course.
vanity, right? It's vanity because I don't want to. I don't want to, and I don't believe that if you go to the gym, you're automatically being vain. It's not that, right? There's nothing wrong with saying because, like, for my example, now I'm not trying to get defensive, but like, I just felt like, I had a sleeping problem. I had a difficult time sleeping and stuff because I spend a lot of time behind the PC, a lot of time, even my hobbies. And, I was starting to get like lower back pains and I couldn't sleep at night. And then I started like, you know, trying prescription marijuana and like melatonin and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with melatonin, but I said to myself, you know what? I'm actually still young. It would be a shame, and I can't remember which philosopher was saying this, but said this thousands of years ago. It's a pity for a man to reach um, old age without ever having seen the potential of his body. And as you know, a lot of Greek philosophers really believed also in being mentally as well as physically fit. And so I said, you know what, let me get a gym contract. Let me start working out. And indeed, the sleeping problem faded. The lower back pains basically disappeared. And it's good. Like, I feel stronger. I feel better. Um, that's why I do it, right? Like, I want to be strong um, as an individual unit. You know what I mean? And of course, as a father who needs to be in a protective role. Um, but I also accept that there's a lot of people who are purely doing it for vanity. Um, You know, even not just attacking men, also looking at some of the women. The way they're dressed at the gym, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're naked. You're literally naked. You're not, this is not about comfort. Don't try and tell me that you're just doing this because, oh, it's my body and I can do what I want to. Yes, it is your body, but like that cannot be the most comfortable thing. You know what I mean? Like, and so, you know,
Well, think about it this way. I don't know if you've ever worn like second skins and stuff.
mm,
So like obviously in jiu-jitsu and MMA I wore them a lot. It's
like
it's
Under Armour type
nice.
stuff, right?
Yeah, but like the pants and the top,
Okay.
you basically there's no fat, there's nothing in the way. I'm covered, but it's not skin on skin, basically.
Mm,
And
okay.
so all your workouts are smooth. You know, there's
Mm,
not like a pants that's like waving around and like maybe I'm going for a triangle or an arm bar and now my pants is getting caught,
mm.
you know. Um, it's all just like basically skin tight, if you will. So from that, from a comfortability perspective, it is actually more comfortable.
But I'm not talking
But
about that. I'm not talking about where you're wearing skin tight things, but you're covering yourself. I'm talking about there's literally examples where the person's wearing a bra, basically, right? It's just a bra, and yeah, and then like you know what I'm saying, like, and the pants are like I don't know. It's your own choice, but I
no, no. So
personally
what I'm
feel
saying
like it's
is
vanity.
with those pants, like the skin tight, because they wear the leggings. It it is extremely revealing for things like camel toe and moose knuckles and those things along those lines. Which being in the gym is a very like there's a lot of hormonal things happening. There's a lot of testosterone and then there's estrogen as well. And then it's mixing in the air.
Mm,
There's a lot of sniffing happening, consciously or unconsciously.
yeah.
And it's I just say like let's have a bit of decorum, especially with a lot of these chicks. Now going back to the other point, which is
Staring in front of the mirror, like
that's the
posing,
one,
and
right? But then
yeah,
you have the other side, which is these women who like they're recording everything. It's like fitness influencers or
thank God
something.
I've not experienced that. I
And
don't know. Yeah.
it's everything is oh wait, you're walking in my shot or
Have
oh,
you
do you
had that?
mind? I just want to record this. A lot at my gym that I used to go
Really?
to. Um, and you,
What happened with your mic? Nah, I can't hear you, brother. You didn't even speak that loudly. Oh my goodness. No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I don't know what you touched.
yo,
Oh, speak again?
yo.
Yeah, you're back.
No, it's because see, this is the initial problem.
Yeah.
Is I don't want to say who it is, but it's just when a certain person comes to my room to do a bit of touching up.
Touching,
She's
touching. Yeah.
no, she's just like I have to try explain to her every time to be careful around this area.
Yeah.
Um, and it's the domestic worker. And she it doesn't really listen to what I say. So that's the reason for the initial thing was she hit the hub, and
That's why we had that poor internet
that's
connection.
yeah, because the hub had been like pulled out,
Oh
like
man.
slightly,
But enough to fiddle with it.
exactly with the connection. But now remember, the mic is in the hub as well.
Uh,
So once you start fiddling with it, even if you're fixing it, like something like that is bound to happen. Like a reconnection is bound to take place. But you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, brother. So you're
Okay, cool.
saying you're talking about that
Yeah,
recording
the
thing.
fitfluences,
Fitfluence.
um,
Okay.
whatever they call themselves. Because I used to hang out with one. She would do the whole thing of like, oh, I'm gonna take 2 scoops of not creatine pre-workout. And what they do is they raw dog it. So they throw the powder like that directly in their mouths.
Uh,
And then they drink the water. And they record themselves while they're on Instagram. And then they go into the gym, basically rushing on meth.
what is pre-workout, bro? I only know protein and
It's a
creatine.
stimulant.
Really?
So some of them are crazy strong, dude. I never liked pre workout because it gives you the jitters,
Uh,
like you literally shake like that.
uh.
And so what they do is obviously it gives you like a crazy rush. So you at the gym and you just pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. But I always felt a little bit nauseous. I never look, even for a long time, I never even needed to take any other supplements, like protein powder and all. There's actually a doctor who was saying, at least for the people in South Africa, like you don't need extra protein.
You're eating a lot of
Um,
meat.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this idea of people like having extra protein, but they're not on like a caloric deficit. It's just kind of now you're just buying products.
Mm,
Um, but I knew a few guys actually, who it was like they need their stack. That's what it's called.
mm.
So it's your um, pre-workout, and then it's like 2 other pills that they take with it, and then they have their creatine, but it's mixed with like some other stuff. And like they do the whole stack like that, and then in between they've got like protein shake, and you're just sourced, dude. You're just completely sourced.
But
And
do you think? Okay, continue. I wanted to ask
look,
you
it is
something.
effective because you got all those chemicals that your body's utilizing, and especially when the stuff has like anabolic steroids in it, right?
Oof.
Like people don't understand that steroids is not just in needle form. Like you get it in protein shakes as well. I know a guy who was so ripped, dude. Like not I'm not talking about like crazy bodybuilder style.
But just
I'm
like
talking
very.
about very very lean swimmer body type. And he was doing that. I was at his place. He had like this big party. And every time he walked past the window, he would stop like that and look at himself. Like
You
he
see,
just could not stop looking at, because he was always a fat guy. So now he was seeing himself as that. But he got off of it. And now these days you see how he can't do it naturally anymore. Um he's got that high levels of estrogen. There's a lot of ED that's happening. Uh there's certain things where like he's even with a woman and he goes soft on her after like popping like a couple of pills.
whoa,
Um
yeah, dude.
so it's interesting.
You know what the thing is? Um, I think it's twofold there. Okay, because it's very interesting. That whole getting into the supplements movement. I think it's also very closely linked to, if I can just get this thing, then it will help me get the result, right? Not realizing that actually you have everything. I mean, think about how the body works biologically. You are a powerhouse, right? Every single cell has mitochondria. Those mitochondria are generating power that fuels the cell, right? And on a cellular level, they are literally power factories, right? That's like proportionally, that's how much energy they give out. And it's within us, right? Even the fat that we have, that's power. That's what it is, right? It's high calorie storage. It's like having 2 years supply of coal, high quality black coal, and then you're like, yeah, but you know what? Let's just take some petrol and use it for the fuel. Like, you don't need it. You've already got it. It's in your body. Just activate it by accessing it, right?
The thing about these things, like for instance, like if we're looking at Deca or Anavar or
Those are
Trenbolone,
those are steroids.
these
Or what?
these are some anabolics. They all do certain things, like think about, take that machine that you just spoke about and just turn it up a few levels.
Mm,
You never saw, right? So you can do 2 sessions a day. Just,
mm,
I want you to imagine this, right? You can do 2 sessions a day. Every session you're lifting more, you're getting stronger.
mm,
And the next day you're not sore. You wake up fresh and strong to go back and go back and go back. And your metabolism is so fast that you're not even getting fat no matter how much you eat.
mm.
You, like, people talk about how they walk around like this, dude, like, yo man, what's up, dude, let's go train. You are at just this peak level of chemistry, if you will.
It is chemistry.
and
Yeah.
and within, dude, in 1 month, guys look at themselves and they're like, I'm a god.
Mm.
Straight up, like, I'm a superhuman. And that's what those things do to you.
So that's what
uh,
makes it addictive, is that
yeah,
feeling of,
because you feel invincible, unstoppable. And but then there's all the other things, they start talking with a lisp. Their nipples become swollen. You know, it's it becomes quite dark.
yeah. Nah, dude, I don't want that, bro.
Like, even
I,
this one guy said, he's like, I can look at a guy's nipples and tell you exactly what he's on. Um,
that should be
so,
on a t-shirt. Show me your nipples, I'll show you who you are.
and so, but what's happening is you're doing like deep hormonal changes
Yeah, dude.
to your system. And this is
Nah.
why when they get off of it, they just become like bags of slop. I mean, I see that guy, like, well, when was the last time I actually saw him? Probably like 3 years ago. And he, big bald spot on the top of the head, huge belly. Uh, when the nipples are pointing to the ground, and you're like, oh, whoa, okay, something has taken place here. The skin
Mm.
is always red, red, red.
Mm.
Uh,
Isn't that like Joe
and
Rogan, bro? Nothing against him, but like it could just be that he's just chopped
but
some
that
wood.
no,
I
that's
don't
from
know.
steroids, dude. They call it testosterone, TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. But I mean, he's never denied it. Like, he's spoke about it for years that
Oh, really?
he's done all this stuff.
Dude, it's just
It's
You know,
armor,
yeah, yeah, you're right.
but
But
like not in a good way.
yeah, like you see, my obsession, if I can call it that, with working out was because I wanted to be my real self. You understand what I'm saying? So obviously, not working out, not like okay. I think about it like this: when I was still in Botswana, I had the massive yard, 1,000 square meters. Um, and I was always active, man. Right? I was always digging, chopping, something. Um, even when it had nothing to do with my job. Like, you're driving around, someone's like, there's an old lady, she's got a flat tire. You stop by and like, hey, are you okay? And she's like, oh, my child, please help me change the tire. And then you get out and you just like,
And then you
it's a
get
physical.
robbed by like 4 guys, and she's the bait.
I can tell you a story about that one as well, but like, I didn't get robbed, but it was very close. Uh, but yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot of physical exercise, right? Even when it's like your aunt's like, oh, can you help me just like with these cows? And you're dealing with like a lot of physical activity, and it's good. You're getting your sunshine, you're getting your fresh air, you're getting your activity, and then it was gym was not even a thought. Like, what do I need that for? But ever since I really started my really sedentary work here, and of course it's so
It's almost a
different.
death sentence, bro.
Yes, so I didn't want to atrophy in that way. So my thing of working out was so that I can be myself. I want to feel like myself, but I would I would literally run from steroids because that's not going to be you anymore, right? Your red skin, you can't get an erection, you you're seeing veins that are popping, but it's not natural, but I guess everyone's got their own. I don't
Just
know.
remember, some guys they enjoy that whole thing where like their hair falls out,
They
and you
enjoy
just
that.
like you got there's like patches on the head, and you're like, oh, it looks like it's time for me to shave the head, and they're pulling
Mm,
back, and now they got no neck. Now look, don't get me wrong. Um, you don't just take roids and then you're ripped. It takes hard work.
yeah.
Those guys are putting in a lot of work, but they obviously enhanced in terms of they're never tired, so they can train as much as they want. But what I meant by its armor is that it's the same as with someone who's fat. Uh, and I guess I'll just go into it. Is that it's they're protecting themselves from something, so they're building up a fortress.
It's a
Some
physical.
people,
It's a physical defense. I mean, it's a psychological defense that has physical consequences, or not. I'm just.
no. So they build up an armor, and what it is like it all, like I keep referring to, it comes down to those feelings that people don't want to deal with.
Mm,
So instead of releasing the feelings, they pack it in with either fat or muscle. So you see these guys are ripped like that. Uh, that is, I think it's basically called like manorexia.
mm.
Um,
Adonis complex. Some I've heard it called as well.
where you just keep putting on muscle and muscle because you're trying to protect yourself from like the world and what's going on inside. It's very sensitive inside. Same like someone who's fat. They have this so that there's more layers in the way. That's why they call it armor. It's protection, and it's very psychological. Um, most of those people, and it's happened to me many times. Once I started like, because remember, releasing things it's a very it's a natural thing. It's like breathing. We are always doing it, except the difference is that we live in an age where we push it aside. I can't look at that. I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
And we think that time heals like things, but it doesn't really. You just pushed it to the side. And so once they start releasing, all of a sudden that false appetite will start falling away, right? The guy who was lifting the whole time finds himself, just sitting in the sauna, kind of meditating. And then you'll notice all of a sudden they're doing yoga and they've lost all that muscle. It's like,
But
okay,
they're
what
happy.
happened here?
But they're happy.
Yeah, and like you see how light they are in their face, they're smiling, and you know, um, so, and even the person who's fat, like I said, the false appetite goes. It's like, huh, I'm not actually even hungry, and it'll always start with breakfast, because the person is like the idea is always like, oh, I slept whole night, now I need breakfast, um, and so, but really, that's the time when your body's actually, burning off that extra fat that you're keeping there. So you'll actually be sustained if you just drank some water or some tea, and started pushing it later. And that's the one thing that they'll notice. Oh, I don't actually need breakfast. I'll have something at 10, or oh, I'm doing intermittent
I was
fasting
about
all
to
of a
say
sudden.
that. Yeah, you wake up and you should be up for like an hour or two at least. I know it's difficult because of the schedules that we create for ourselves, where you wake up, brush your teeth, get dressed, shower, get dressed, and then you're like, let me eat so that I can quickly go to work, right?
Yeah, so I don't have
But
to worry about food.
yeah, but really you need to either you need to wake up an hour or two earlier, be about your thing, then eat and go to work. But the main point is, yeah, you should be up for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, just
Dude, this
awake.
it's chronic eating, dude. It's like, unless you've actually, look, right now, I've done, it's been 2 weeks now. I've only eaten one meal a day. And I was trying to explain this to you the other day, how
Yeah.
it's 24 hours, 25 hours of fasting a day, And so it's like, oh, how does that even make sense? Like I said, if I eat at 1 o'clock, let's say I eat at 12 o'clock on Sunday. So I just count it as 1 o'clock, because obviously at 12 you're physically eating for those 15 to 20 minutes. So let's just say it's 1 o'clock. The next day, Monday, I have my first and last meal at 1 o'clock. The Tuesday, I have my first and last meal at 2 o'clock. Next day, 3 o'clock. Next day, 4 o'clock.
Mm.
So I keep hitting those hours every single day. And yeah, the first week was tough. Obviously, there's a little bit of fatigue. Second week, I'm I'm eating meals, and it's kind of like, yo, I'm getting full here. And then it makes you think, is it even necessary to be eating so much in the day, dude? Like, really?
I don't think so.
Like, I can't, like, I have this big meal like I ate now. That's why I was like sluggish. Meat, man, just great food. And I ate it, and I'm just, okay, that's good. But then I'm thinking, like, now people are doing this for breakfast. You're getting stuffed like that. then they're having lunch, and they're stuffed like that, and then they're having snacks in between, and then they're having dinner. And dude, some people are even doing fry ups 10 o'clock at night, and it's like you're going to bed.
Yeah.
It's like you're
Yeah.
eating fried food, and then you're getting straight into bed like right after that. So it's this, to me, unless you actually try do it, you won't realize, oh, we overeating. Now if you're a skinny person, of course you need to eat more. But what people also don't understand is that even skinny people, it's like reverse armor. There's also something that they are doing or not doing that is keeping them thin. You know, it's not just the case of, oh, I don't eat a lot, but it's like, okay, why don't you eat a lot?
No, but
You know,
some people have a fast metabolism. Some people just have parasites, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
that there's always that excuse. Oh, I have a very fast metabolism.
yeah, but
If you
not
had a fast
everyone.
metabolism, you'd be eating all the time, dude.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, there's people using excuses. I mean, not everyone can be having. If you're going into a room of 100 people, there should be like maybe 2 or 3 people who have very fast metabolisms. If you're getting to 10 or 15 or 20 people telling you, "Oh, I just have a very fast metabolism," you're talking cuck. It's not
And dude, if
statistically.
these
It's
people are
not.
like 40, you're 40 years old. Oh, I got a fast metabolism. It's like, no, you don't. Like, what are you talking about? You're lying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, like that when you're a teenager and maybe in your 20s, I can imagine that. But once the testosterone drops, I mean, so what I'm saying is that, um, and I'm not saying everybody needs to be some type of bodybuilder, but just look at like Asians.
Okay, here we go.
No, it's just look at their shape. If you look at someone who it's just it's a flat stomach and there's no like big double chin on the neck, and they're fit, they can walk. It's like, oh, this is a healthy person. You don't need to have like ripped and distorted muscles and things like that. But oh no, like people will be like, yo, you skinny, you know, like a lot of the colored people. And it's like, no, they're overweight. You know, like it's a pre-diabetic state.
Ooh, the
Like
skinny,
when you have when you have that fat there, that pooch, and then like a lot of these chicks are like, "Oh, it's cute, hey," and I'm like, no, it's not. Like, oh, I like my pooch. It's like, okay,
um,
cool.
I would
Go
say,
for it if
yeah.
that's what you like. But I always say, if you had a choice, you could pick whatever body you want. Is that the one you would want?
But just to add a bit of science to this, just so that people understand, um, what the real problem here is. I think it's called skinny fat. Okay, so the food that you consume is obviously a lot of it, especially the carbohydrates, which is, let's be honest, that's the bulk of your food, right? Of your sustenance is some form of carbohydrate, potatoes or rice or whatever. And even beans that have a lot of protein is carbs in there. Now, your a lot of that is then converted or broken down into glucose. Now, there's something called skeletal muscle, okay? As the name suggests, the muscle around your skeleton. This is the muscle group that breaks down most of this glucose. It absorbs most of this glucose. Okay. Now, if you don't have a good percentage of skeletal muscle. The glucose in your bloodstream doesn't get absorbed by those muscles, and therefore your liver has to deal with it. And that's what desensitizes your liver to things like insulin, right? You develop insulin resistance, and that's when you become diabetic. So you can be massive, but have puffed up muscles and have very little of the skeletal muscles, that tough endurance muscle. You can be in danger of becoming diabetic. Or you can be skinny looking, but you also don't have a lot of that skeletal muscle. You're in danger of becoming diabetic. So again, the key is not simply to how you look externally, but it's real strength, right? Skeletal muscle is that high endurance muscle that you get from, being able to walk or jog or you know what I'm saying. That's what's important,
Yeah, no, I'm just the thing
right?
is, you can look at someone and you can tell if they are healthy and if they're fit. Um, it's, I mean, I can go deep with it that it's just a projection of, like, the body is just a projection of your consciousness, essentially,
Yeah.
which is, it's kind of tough for people to hear, especially when you have like certain issues going on. And a lot of people say, "Oh, that's pseudoscience." But I mean, say whatever you want, but uh, once you clear a lot of those things that's being held in mind, and I mean everything is mind, anyways. People change, you know. Um, like I knew a girl who had like heavy psoriasis,
Psoriasis.
uh, and when she can't remember who it was now that she moved away from. She had it her whole life.
What is
Might have been her
psoriasis?
brother even. It's like a skin disease.
Oh,
It
okay.
kind of like it's like a advanced form of like eczema, basically. Or it's along those lines of those types of conditions.
Yeah.
And I knew two people who had it, and she was one of them. Very beautiful as well, but she would have this. It would just flare up from time to time, and I think it was her brother, or it might have been a cousin or something that she lived with for like her whole life, basically. And she would literally, I would walk with her sometimes to go to the hospital from the place where we were at, because it was just like across the road. Because she would have to go get her certain creams and stuff that she would put on, and go wait in the long line. And I'm not even sure how long it was, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. She had moved away from that person and it just disappeared, you know. Um, and there's all these things you can kind of backtrack with that, where like the person is someone being held in consciousness as well. Then when you're able to let go of the thing that is creating this person in your life, the person disappears, and then now the skin condition disappears, um, the poverty mindset disappears. All strange things happen, uh, but bring this up to any people and they'll say, "Oh no, that's not real," or whatever it is.
Yeah.
um, but it's just, so what I mean is, I know people who've been going to the gym for decades, actual decades. They've been on and off of all the programs. There's no change.
Oh, really?
They still got the gut, or they're still skinny, or They're still whatever it is. And it's like, yeah, because you're cleaning a flooded basement every year. You keep cleaning the basement, but the leak is coming from upstairs. And until you fix the leak, it's just going to keep flooding. And that's what most people are trying to do, um, because they're avoidant and all these things. And unfortunately, it gets to that point, obviously, with the cataclysm that takes place, the crisis. A lot of these people who are, stuck in the physical, the whole physical aspect will disappear, or they won't be able to utilize it anymore. A guy will break his leg, like a gym rat will break his leg, and now he can't gym. And now he has to sit there with this cast on his leg
And deal
and
with his
deal with it.
issues.
Like literally sit there and deal with it now. Um, Things will take place,
There's nothing like a timeout from life just to say, no, you're going to stop running and sit there now and figure this out. Some people can't take it, I mean,
I mean, his girlfriend was even full of bruises, but that's a different story.
geez, yeah, it's some people. Wow, it's so amazing. It's I keep saying it's a gift. It's obviously frustrating and annoying when it happens, but it's a gift to just. It's almost like COVID-19, 2020, 2021. It was a gift, actually, in a way. I mean, I know we lost a lot of people, but it was a gift in a way because lots of people had to sit down with their significant other or families in one house. And now there was no running away of, oh, I've got to go to work. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to dinner with friends. I'm doing this. And like just, you know, marching on in this chaos, right? So you had people breaking up or coming together closer, strengthening their bonds, right? Realizing what's very important in life, realizing what's not important, realizing, hey, actually, I hate my job, or starting businesses again because they discovered what they actually are interested in, uh, and we didn't do enough with it, you know.
Dude, some people like went back to the thing that they were doing in the first place, which was, I'm just going to sweep this under the rug. So that whole thing that took place, they've just swept it under the rug, like, oh, yeah, that didn't happen. And they just haven't even got back. People haven't come back, dude. Like in terms of business wise and all these things. You see, I looked at it like this: is this big dog, and the dog has all these fleas on it, and then like COVID happens. So think about all those things, like the fleas, like some are businesses, all the and actual people themselves, and then the dog like shook itself, and only the things that were strong enough, like they were strong in their foundation and structure, were able to hold on. But all the little things got like thrown off the dog. Um, and that was a lot of businesses. They were, before then they were getting by, but they were barely, like, they were getting by just because they were established. But then everything got shaken up, and all the cracks became gaps. And then when things started from over again, they just couldn't get back into it.
Yeah, people realize I don't actually need that. I don't even want
Exactly.
that.
And even if they need that, all of a sudden they're not going to you anymore. You know? But then another person will start that exact business and they'll be getting customers. And then you look at that and you go, oh, so this is like that person who has some type of blockage, and now it's like, now you see it's being reflected in the business itself. And normally it even comes with a health problem. And so I do get what you're saying, but so like, how many people even learned from it? How many people actually had that mindset of, yeah, this is good to switch things up?
No, very few people. You'll find them, obviously, there's veins of them, you know, if I can describe it that way. You find them who realize those things, you know, like I'm saying, like, I was one of them. I was just like running around every day, busy, from morning till night. And then the news comes in, yo, there's a lockdown. No one's allowed to move about. And, you know, the first week, or maybe it's days, but definitely the first week, there's still that restlessness of like, but they can't do this. We can't. I'm supposed to be here and there and do that. And then eventually you're just like, oh, well, I guess I'll pick up that book that I've been meaning to read for some time. And then you start finding new ways of doing your work, and you realize that I didn't actually have to be traveling 200 kilometers once a week into that other town. It's like it wasn't necessary. We can just call and it's done. Right? What was that whole obsession? Like, I was leaving my family, which I hated doing, traveling 200, 300 kilometers north and then back, and we're still getting it done. And now it's a phone call. Or you know, it's also like what people are saying with work. Obviously, it doesn't apply to everyone, but there are a lot of jobs. And I'm about to talk about your favorite friend, but there's a lot of jobs. You just don't need to be sitting in traffic 45 minutes one way, 45 minutes the other way, to be present at the office when your work is completely computer based. Like it's a non-tangible product, and you don't need me there just so that the manager can like look you in the eyes and then maybe bully you a bit so you can feel important. And that, you also got that a lot. You know, managers don't feel important, or they need to just have you there so they can remind themselves, I'm the boss.
It's the control thing,
Yeah,
right?
but
They
you're
need
not doing
control.
anything. What are you doing, manager? I'm showing you the work. You can inspect my work. It's on the PC. So why do you need to come by the cubicle and just like, you know, hang your nutsack on my desk and like show that you're some kind of an alpha, right? And people couldn't handle that anymore. And so now you've got some people saying everyone's got to go back to work. But guess what? If your workers aren't productive in their home offices, let me tell you something. They weren't doing shit anyway at the office.
But it's not healthy though.
What?
It's like,
Home office?
yeah, and it's probably only going to come out in the next 10 years after the whole thing, but some type of mental illness or something that was made from it,
Mm,
like working at home in the place where you're supposed to have freedom and stuff. People have anxiety walking past certain doors in their own houses because that's where I work. That in that room there is where my manager and my boss is, and my annoying work colleague is. In your own home,
Yeah, well, that's
you know.
trippy
Oh,
because
I don't want to go in there because we have this meeting after meeting after meeting, and we say absolutely nothing in the meetings, and it's these managers who call the meetings because they want, it's their desire for control. Oh, I see everybody's here and we're sitting around, and like it's the
well, let me tell
third
you my
meeting of the day. Like what?
let me tell you my experience. I know everyone's got a different look. My work, for example, I'm coding, and I was
Coachable.
coding, right? I'm
Oh,
coding. It's a high focus thing, right? I can do 3 hours of solid code work and I'm exhausted. And then I have to stand up, take a break, and then come back, right? It's because I'm focused, right? And it doesn't really need too much input from others. So let me just give you a real example. I go to the office. Um, Immediately, there's people coming into the office. Hey, what's up, man? Talking about some experience from 20 years ago. They went on a holiday to Africa, and I'm sitting there like, okay, cool, cool. In my head, I'm like, okay, but I've got something I need to do. Then finally, the person leaves. I start working. Then there's another person next to me wants to tell me about something else that happened on the weekend. Now I'm there listening to this person. Then I want to go back to work. Then, there's a lot of distractions. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of filler time that people do. So I'm saying, I understand what you mean. I would say it would be great if you have days in the week where you have to be at the office so that you can connect with your co-workers, look them in the eye, you know what I mean? Because certain things are communicated more easily. We're still primitive beings, so certain things are communicated more effectively eye to eye. Something about the tone in your voice and things like that, body language, like you can gauge each other where there's a lot of non-verbal communication happening. That's crucial. But then there's a lot of it that's just people sitting at the water cooler, um, pissing away minutes, hours. Maybe I'm just a workaholic. I don't know, but I'm a results oriented person, right? And
but look, okay, so you gave obviously a very specific example,
yeah,
which is your coding. So, but how many people are really coding? Like most of these, like remote jobs, you're not even doing that.
you're
You're
right.
on staff at some other company where, I mean, I can't even make up something like that they do. I don't know what people do, dude. I really look. I've never been in those industries. I've always been doing some other things on the fringe of life. I've never had to be like at a cubicle. I've done office work, yes, and even that itself was also very specific. I was learning to do something, so I had to be in the office
Yeah.
to do it for that period of time. And I kind of enjoyed that because I was left alone.
Mm,
Um, but what I also mean is there's the social dynamics of
yeah.
being around people, like actually being with people. Uh, so when people they lock themselves away, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't even have any friends. It's like, whoa, okay, what happened
Yeah, but
then?
you see, there you're talking about something serious because a lot of people only have work friends, and people from high school, maybe.
Yeah, but think about it this way.
Yeah.
If you went out to the office or whatever, you have more of a chance to meet people, not at the office specifically, but maybe you go down to get something to eat and you strike up a conversation with someone in the line getting some food or something. And then you maybe see that person like a few times a week. And then, oh, by the way, me and my group of friends are going to go do this thing. Someone pulled out. Would you come with? Oh, yeah, hey, maybe. Yeah, where you going? Oh, we're going to this hiking trail or something. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll go. There's all these things that can happen
Yeah, but also
that
think
won't
about,
happen if you're sitting at home in the
okay,
dark with like a
that's a
screen in
good
the face.
that's a good point. But I want to say two
Like, it's not
things.
just about productivity. Like, oh,
Yeah.
we gotta like.
There's two
That's
things
how
I'd
people
say.
get sick. Dude.
There's two things I'd say to that. One, if you're working at home, don't take your break at home. Like when you take your 30-minute, 1 hour break, get up, go to your local
Go to
cafe.
the toilet.
No. go go to your local cafe, go to the park, have your break like that. Like actually get up, you leave your apartment or your house and have a break there, right? Number 2 that you're also not thinking about is a lot of people deal with long commute ways. And if you've been paying attention to road rage, dude, spending 2 hours, like think about that. You start your day off, traffic, you're sitting there, people are cutting you off, there's hooting, pop, 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 pop. You're trying to look for, you're under stress, you're trying to, because you got to get to the office quickly, you're stressing, right? Dude, it's a huge psychological um loss actually already. Like you're starting your day off with a huge psychological loss. Then you get to the office, you work. Then now you're exhausted. Now you've got another 45-minute, 1 hour. Not because you're going so far away, right? Because your car can, think about how far a car can travel in an hour. Easily 120 kilometers if you're just going at a reasonable pace, right? But you're not going 120 kilometers away. You actually just live 5 kilometers away. But because everyone's on the road, it's taking you 45 minutes to an hour to travel 5 kilometers. Stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Fuck you! Stop cutting me off! People are swearing at each other. Dude, it's not cool. I think
Dude,
that
it's
also.
no reason to be avoidant. Like, oh, I'm scared of someone's gonna show me a middle finger in traffic, so now I'm gonna go
Dude, guys
just
get
stay at home.
shot. Guys get shot.
Dude, you've never seen anybody get shot, and you've never been shot.
I've seen
So,
fights, and I can tell you now,
no,
I
but
also used to get
I'd
annoyed.
have you. Yeah, but you haven't got into the fight, so it's kind of like
Dude, you have
it's
no
this thing that
idea, bro.
it's like, oh, it's a possibility that
No, it's
if
not
I
just a
make myself
possibility.
coffee, I can burn my lip
No, no,
with
no,
the
no.
with the water.
I'm
But
telling
it's
you
like
right now.
you know how to navigate that.
I've gotten out of cars. Guys have gotten out of cars. Now you're standing there by the windscreen, like, hey, put. That's not how you're supposed to be driving. It's like, F off, man. And he's
Dude,
like
if you're
rolling up
getting
the
out a
window.
car,
And you're
like
there jamming on that window, like, get out.
that's like traffic is the last bit of your issues that you have to deal with. And secondly, the other thing is people who like you think people are gonna leave the house when they work from home, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Like just getting them out that's insane, dude. Like think about someone who's like they can barely get out of their bed to switch on their PC to start doing the work, and then they're just like, I'll just, I'll I'll just do it tomorrow, and then they just get wasted on the weekend, and they already like, oh, I'm gonna go home early. Yeah, yeah. I don't really have late nights anymore. Back at home back in the slop.
Mm,
It's I know a girl who I went for a run, and this was 2024 because I was actually when I saw her there, I was actually like, oh, I can date this girl, you know, because I go for a run and then I see her walking, and I call out her name, and I mean I told the story about her before, but anyways, I call out her name, and she kind of like, the head's on a swivel. You're looking left and right. Then I meet up with her, I start talking. I immediately set up a date. Oh, let's hang out. Yeah, we'll do it next week this time. Logistics, logistics. None of this other, we'll catch up when we talk type of thing.
yeah.
Um, and she was just exhausted, dude. And I hadn't realized that she was doing the work from home thing. And the only reason she was out there was had almost driven herself insane, that she just had to jump in a car and just start walking through a field, um, because it was too much. Nobody wants to deal with what's going on, so that it's all this escapism. And it's right before the panic attack hits. Okay, now they're walking through the field like 1,000 yards there. Oh, huh?
What
Someone's
was she
calling me.
exhausted about?
You don't know if it's coming from your own head or from out there. And yeah, I wasn't surprised when we actually went on our date thing, and she just got so wasted, dude. Just where I mean, I was also like drinking, but and I obviously got to a point that I didn't want to be at, but it's like whatever, we out. But she was just so like wasted, babbling about rubbish, just speaking to herself all of a sudden. I'm looking at her like, what did you say something? Huh? I'm like, okay, she has problems.
But what was that stemming from?
Everybody, it's the same thing.
Everyone's
Your
sick.
mind,
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
they are. Your mind is a collection of thoughts and feelings that have accumulated throughout your life, and I mean throughout many lifetimes, but people don't want to really
Talk about that.
delve into that.
That's too
um
spiritualistic, man.
yeah, he's into the Buddhist. But anyways, so there's all this clutter, it's all this junk that's there. And like we was mentioning earlier, they pack on the pounds to like protect themselves from other people seeing that their vulnerabilities, or they put on all this muscle, or they take up something, and
Mm.
like marathon running, what, like, insert anything, and they use this thing. And it's like, especially when it's considered in society, oh, that's a good thing, man, good for you. Like, you are, I I use the marathon running one because it's a decent example. Um, it's like, wow, man, you doing so many races type of thing, and it's never seen as this person is literally running away from something. And so from the outside perspective, we look at it and we go, oh man, I wish I was like that guy or that girl. Um, they seem to have their life in order. They're running the whole time. I'm struggling to get to the gym. And so when people are doing those types of things, right? It's like, oh man, he's in the gym every single day, he's lifting. Really? Yeah. That guy, man. He's just this is also escapism. You
I think
know,
it's. I
I
think
know people on like trail hikes, dude. They every single time you see them, they're on a new trail, a new trail, a new trail. And there's obviously nothing wrong with that. I used to love doing it myself.
yeah,
But
I love a good hike. Yeah.
there is a weird thing that you start noticing in those people where when you actually sit and you talk to them, it's like, oh no, no, I can't do that. I'm hiking tomorrow. It becomes this obsessive thing. Um, and
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
yeah,
say is that I think it's, as always, it's not what you're doing always, it's why you're doing it, right? I mean, you have
exactly.
things like weed. It's not actually addictive. Um, but then people make it a
To who?
crutch. No, it's not addictive. But then you make it into a crutch because, yeah, okay, look, weed makes you feel relaxed. It can change your state of mind. Great. But if you're doing it every day, right, and you can't go a week without it, then clearly there's something that you're using it to run away from. And just like you said, it can be the hiking trail. Nothing wrong with hiking. You know, okay, there's a week where you happen to be going every day, but you can easily say, yeah, you know what, let's go out. I'll go hike the next day. That's a healthy response, right? To maybe, hey, I'm getting married. I want you to come to my bachelor's. And then you're like, no, but I can't do that because I first have to go for a hike. Now
Yeah.
it's not healthy. It's a dependency thing, right? People can take anything. And I always say that people can take anything and make it a dependency thing. LSD, for example. LSD is not addictive, but you have people who need to drop acid every single day. Like, what are you running from? Like, what are you running from that you need to have a mind blowing experience every single day? Right? Now it's weird.
I knew a guy who walked around with a vial. Um, and yeah, it was, dude, he was dropping every single day. That thing was just going down. And the one time I did it with him, and there's this one road, and we on his scrambler, dude. Such a mistake from me, but I wasn't thinking. Um, like I thought he was like normal, and dude, we're going through on this road. It's a main road, but it's just like there's a bunch of trees. You've been there before, obviously. Say if you're going the wine route,
ah,
right?
yeah,
Now
yeah,
you know
yeah.
those trees like that that like if you go left, you go to like Tiger Valley,
Oh
but if you go
yeah,
straight,
it's a nice
so you know
road.
the
It's one of those,
that
yeah.
range, yeah. So those range of trees, and dude, I'm holding on so tight to this dude, and he's just blitzing on this bike, and dude, I promise you, all the trees were dead still, and all I heard was him laughing. Like going so fast,
Ah,
everything went
and
still.
it's a
Obviously,
bad
because of
sign,
the
dude. It's a bad sign. Yeah, yeah.
just like laughing, like staring, and I'm like I can see him in the rear view, even like this guy, and then he's just like when we stop, he's like, "Yeah, you were holding on quite tight there. Why are you so scared?" I'm like, this guy doesn't realize that he's insane, you know. um
Mm.
he went through a bad breakup and stuff, and so and he's a rich kid as well. So it was just like dropping. My thing about weed is that the issue is that because it's like accepted, right?
Accepted?
Culturally.
Okay, now you're
In terms
talking
of,
crap, but okay, fine. What are you saying? Like
what do you
there's
mean?
still a
I
stigma
know.
around it.
Sorry, I don't want to go at your weed, but
No, there's still a
you weed
stigma.
heads need to learn about it.
Look, first of
Um,
all, I'm not smoking it. I'm just
Bro,
saying.
there's CBD in there's like a weed product in every household. Yes, it's not people smoking J's, but they're using creams, they're using CBD, they're using oils.
Okay, get on with your hate speech.
Okay, with pleasure.
Yeah.
Um, and so culturally, it's like, yeah, man, we are now above the man that used to
Mhm.
keep us oppressed, and now we get to smoke our joint. And it's like, that's all good, but you're getting high. Like, why are we forgetting that part? You know, um, like, why are you getting high? Why do you need to get high? Um, I mean, even think about it. It's because you feel low. Oh man, I just had such a long day at work. I just wanna light me up a J and relax. It's like, okay, that's just as much escapism as everything else.
No, but
Because I always tell every single person, before you smoke, are you asking yourself, why am I going to smoke this now? Like, what is actually the reason for me doing this?
you even said it better
And if they can,
actually.
huh?
You actually said it way better. You said take that joint and like just hold it and just before you're about to light it up. I could be remembering it wrong, but this is the way I remember you said it. You said a little test for yourself. Take the joint just before you're about to light it, hold the lighter in your hand, and ask yourself, do I need this to feel better? Or why am and ask yourself why you're smoking it. You said it something like that. I like that, the way you put it. Like before you just quickly like roll it up and like light it and then start puffing, just pause and ask yourself like, do I need to
Well,
smoke this?
I never, like, yeah, basically it's, um, the way I phrased it then, I kind of did it more in terms of, placing it on your values. So it's, why am I smoking this? Oh, because I need to relax. What is relaxing going to do for me? Blah, blah, blah. Until you get to, because it's going to bring me peace. And then ask yourself, can I be peaceful without this joint? And then you say, yes, I can be. And then just sit with that for 1 minute and then light up.
Yeah.
At
I think
least,
that's
like, at least if you're going to be on that point of clarity, um, and then smoke. But this idea of just placing something out there, no, if I do this thing, then I'll get the peace that's in here. It's like,
yeah.
no, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
But what I mean in terms of the culture thing, I mean, here where I am, you got weed bars and stuff. People stand on the streets, the cops drive past. Streets where we had to like duck and dive. Now you just stand right there. The cops pull you over and they say, "Oh, is this place open?" While you're busy smoking a J. No one even
Yeah.
cares anymore. It's just accepted. But let's
Um
not pretend that we aren't altered. You know,
yeah, but also think
like,
about
can
booze.
can you go? Can you climb a ladder and go onto a roof? Like, no, they'll tell you you can't do this. You can't
Mm.
operate that forklift
Well,
when you're
there's
under the
two
influence of stuff.
Well, there's two things. First of all, people have been and are still doing that with beer as well, with alcohol, right? So, a beer after work or
It's the
something like
same
that.
thing.
It's the same thing. Why do you need to have that beer? You
Now,
need,
here's the only difference, right?
okay.
Beer is more controlled in terms of I can have like a glass and I'm not going to be like that crashed out. But with the joint, only one pool and I'm stoned, right? You have that good indoor, that one pool, you're like, ooh, let's go. You got shivers down your spine and stuff. It's straight to the head. You know, um, I've seen people who have a business meeting and they'll buy a beer and they'll sip on it while they talk to the person and then they'll leave and it's like halfway through. Now, I'm not saying even have alcohol to begin with. If you're drinking every day or multiple times in the week, like there's a problem here. Um, Even with wine, dude, and I love wine, but people use, oh no, this is wine. It's like,
Yeah,
huh?
they
I was
act
like, yo,
like that's
they drank this in the Bible.
this is healthy, man. But they're emptying. I always laugh at those especially in the sitcoms. I don't know if you've seen this or these dramas. They'll have a white lady usually, right, with a
The glass
massive
of wine.
with a massive glass of wine. Like it's a glass of wine you can't get in a restaurant, and then the whole bottle empties.
Oh
the
yeah,
whole,
like
the whole
I
3/4
actually
liter.
drank from one of those as like a joke
Dude,
thing.
dude, it's a joke, bro. Like you can't be having those and then you're saying it's just 2 glasses of wine. No, it's a bottle. It's a bottle of wine every
But
night.
dude, it's every night.
Yeah, no,
Um,
can't be.
where you got these like, and it's funny you mentioned it because that was like that chick as well that I went on the date with. She spoke about, oh, I just have like 2 glasses of Sauvignon. It's just light, with the meal, and then sometimes three if I've had a stressful day. I'm like, you're drunk. Like you are drunk
Dude,
every night.
Maggie, you're definitely drunk, bro. Trust me. Like I'm like 80 kgs, and I if I have a glass of wine, I'm already limber. And I don't pour like the full glass. Like I just pour like,
No,
a
but the thing
quarter
is,
way.
that's the thing. You don't pour the thing full. Like
Yes.
wine, you only have so much.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe like 200 mils or something.
Yeah. And also in
But
the yeah.
one glass, a full glass, that'll get you tipsy, dude.
Yeah.
So if
And
you having 3 glasses, you're literally having like a full glass of
there's
wine.
something I want to search that's always interested me is like what is the actual strength of the wine? Uh
It's not that much, to be honest. Wine, I would say, is between 4 and 6.
no.
The
Most most
volume of the alcohol.
nah. Most wines were oh geez. No, but most wines are like are like uh 14. I mean, even a rosé is like at least 11%. It's stronger than a beer. Like, make no mistake. If you're matching glass for glass with a guy who's drinking a light a beer, even a full strength 5% beer, you're you're running laps. For every one lap he's
So
going.
what did your search bring up?
So my search brought up so I asked, what is the actual strength of the wine in the Bible? So this goes into a little bit of it's saying like before dilution, naturally fermented wine in biblical times typically contained 10 to 14% alcohol by volume. However, because the ancients lacked modern distillation, artificial fortification, and preservation techniques, this was the absolute maximum limit of natural fermentation. Further, cultural dilution practices often reduce the actual strength in the cup to around 3% ABV. So that's what I was saying is like when you see them, in the movies, or like these in the books, even in the writings, when they're like, oh, in the morning we had, or with dinner we had a glass of wine, some wine. They're talking
They were
about
drunk.
no, they're talking about 3% wine, dude. They're talking about light stuff. You can't be comparing that to
No,
your
but it just said now it was 11 to 14%. Only if they didn't have the technology to do the distillation and stuff,
no. They're
which
saying
brought it down to 3%.
no. They said the cultural practice of dilution. So when you had the wine, let's say when you would transport wine from this city to another city or another country, you would have it in as strong a concentration as possible because that obviously reduces volume you need to carry. You don't want to carry water, but when it comes time to drinking it, they'll water it down.
No, I think you're misunderstanding it. Read the first part again when they just said
But it says here at the end,
what the strength of it was.
furthermore, cultural dilution practices often reduced the actual strength in the cup to around 3%. So let me read the second part. The practice of
No, so the
dilution.
first part, leave the dilution stuff because they weren't doing that. If you read the first part again,
Let me
they
show you. Let
say
me show you what it
this
says
is
here.
what it was.
Let me show you. The practice of dilution, Greco-Roman custom. In New Testament times, drinking wine completely straight was widely viewed by Greeks and Romans as uncivilized. You see what I'm saying? So they would get it to 14%, 10 to 14%, but to drink it like that's not what's done. You mix it with water. Now, water ratios, customary water mixing ratios ranged from 3 parts water to 1 part wine, 3 to 1, or 2 parts water to 1 part wine, which lowered the effective alcohol content in the cup down to roughly 3%. Right? So, Jewish and Old Testament context, opinions and historical evidence differ on whether ancient Israelites always diluted their wine. Some texts and rabbinic traditions point to mixing, while others suggest strong or spiced wine was consumed directly. So that first part was just talking about how high they could get it naturally.
Yeah,
Whereas
but what I mean is that first of all, the New Testament is think about the first time they mentioned wine was with Noah. They planted grapes
in the Old
uh,
Testament, yeah.
where the ark stopped.
Mm.
Um, that's why Lot got his daughters pregnant and stuff. There was even where Noah curses. I think
Ham.
is it Ham
Yeah. Apparently he cursed Ham because Ham was laughing when
because
he
he had
saw
his
Noah.
back to
No,
no,
no.
he had his back turned when he walked in to cover him. He didn't want to see him naked.
No, sorry,
Um,
you're butchering that one. What happened was Noah was drunk from the wine, and then the Ham saw him and laughed. But Shem and Japhet, I believe it was those two brothers, they're the ones who walked backwards and then covered him. So he cursed Ham because Ham laughed at him. He didn't cover him,
I
right?
think you got it wrong.
I swear
I
to
think you
you.
should pull it up.
I swear to you, Mikey. You're gonna
Don't
die on this
swear and
hill.
stuff. It's
Okay.
gonna.
You're gonna die on this hill.
I'm just saying. The person who had his back turned, who covered Noah, is the one who he cursed.
No.
Well, first look it up before you, and then you're gonna look stupid, and then
I'm
you're gonna be
not.
like,
100,
no, I
100%.
was talking about Lot or
I
Abraham or
promise you.
some."
Look here. Here's it. I promise you. I know we're getting petty here, but let me show you. And God blessed Noah, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, wait. Now it's too far. Let me go. And, okay. And he drank. Okay, here we go. And he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japhet took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So you see, he basically cursed Ham, the guy who didn't walk backwards. Because what it's trying to
So
say
that was
is,
the confusion, is that because it says Canaan, right?
yeah,
Like it
Ham.
doesn't say Ham, it says Canaan.
But you know what's really confusing there? People like to say that black people are the descendants of Ham. So did they just, by saying that, are they not admitting that the original inhabitants of Canaan were black? Did I just catch a loophole in the racist theology?
I don't know. But I obviously concede on that because
It's fine.
I'm not afraid to be wrong. That's
It's
why I
fine.
don't care.
Don't worry.
But I know that inconsistency about the laughter was also, I know I'd never read before. Like where he
Okay.
was laughing at him or
Yeah,
something.
okay. Laughing, sorry. That was my own I
Yeah,
added
you
some.
know they were laughing at you.
Yo, you wanna play that game? We're gonna play that game. You
Dude,
wanna play that?
I don't mind saying what happened to me,
Oh
dude.
my goodness.
But anyways, so the point of what I'm saying is that you were also talking about New Testament and Roman times, which is a more advanced time, right? A more advanced people.
Hmm.
So you have to imagine, if people don't have water, you're in the Middle East, you can't always get access to your water, but you've got your wine, then that's what you're going to be drinking all the
So you're
time.
always drunk. Must have been
Yeah.
good. Like there's a lot of business decisions, war meetings, everything's happening, and people are drunk, dude. That could
Dude,
explain a lot
Noah
of the.
was drunk. Think about it. And he's had his clothes off.
That's the thing, right? Like, think about a guy who's so drunk.
His
He's just like,
wine covered in his tent. And even Lot.
I'm hot.
So,
Are you hot? Whew.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
good.
also a thing that's kind of interesting, that, they started a whole people, like, Lot and his daughters.
Hmm.
They went off, the daughters went off after being pregnant, and they started a whole people.
Yeah.
And it never gets mentioned again. It's like, oh well, they raped him, but they never got punished. I always found that to be like strange. That story in itself is strange,
But I think
right?
what it,
It's kind of like, why are we adding this? Like,
yeah.
why? It doesn't. There's no lesson in it unless you're just trying to say, oh, this is the origin of these people. They're inbreds.
Yeah, that could be, or they're born of a sin, they're vile people. But I think the lesson there
But they
really,
say, they never even visit those people again, to my knowledge.
I think
Um,
it
just
could
as they
be,
form this tribe over here, and then
um,
it moves on from them.
it could be what's very interesting. I still
And
can't get
how
over the
wasted
part
must you be?
to smash your own offspring. Yeah,
Well,
it's
that you don't
crazy.
even like what is going on. Like, you know what I mean?
I know
It
what
was
you're
a
saying.
different time, man.
Yes.
Especially if they were untouched. It's like, okay, what is going on here in this tent? And then they
Yeah.
did it like multiple nights.
But there's also obviously the part where um in Sodom and Gomorrah, when the angel came to visit, and then Lot went outside, and the people of the town were like, "You've got two
Yeah.
visitors. Give them to us so that we can sleep with them." And it's like, what? Like, we're like, how
So that
crazy
we
is this?
know,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, to know them, like you want to sodomize them, but dude, that's so crazy. It's so crazy.
But
Like,
isn't
you've
the
got,
worst part, not even the worst part, but look at what he even said.
yeah, take my
So those
daughters.
two daughters that raped him, he's like, take them instead.
Yeah.
They are untouched.
Yeah.
It's like you're just willing to be like, yeah, take them.
Yo.
Like it's that's why like when some people say, oh, there's a lot of misogyny. I'm like, I can see where you're coming from, right? Young daughters, who knows how old they are, do whatever you want with them, but leave these guys.
Yeah, but you can't that's obviously one way to say it, but the other way could be he's trying to protect this guest. I mean, it's a thing of remember, it's a thing of
The guy he
when
just met.
yeah, but if that's you see, that's the difference in our cultural perspective, right? We don't have the idea anymore that if I have invited you into my home, I offer you my protection completely, right? That's the thing. We don't see it that way anymore. I'll gladly throw you out to the wolves. Yeah, I did say come into my house, but if anyone comes looking for you, F off, man. Right? And they didn't see it that way. They saw it as you're my guest.
But
And
here's the thing: was the guy? Did he reveal himself to be an angel to Lot before? Like when he got there, did Lot already know that he was an angel?
you see, that's the thing, right?
Because if he did, go out there. You can kill all of them.
Yeah, yeah. But they did
You're bringing
eventually
trouble. You're
not kill,
bringing
but
trouble here.
they didn't
Yeah,
kill
they've
them,
like
but
smited them.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, first of all, you have nothing to fear from these people. Um, and then you find out it was like a Harvard character who's like, I'm actually a messenger. Um, is there not a plate? Is there not an extra plate? I've been hungry on my travels, you
Mm.
know. So it's just yeah, because I kind of remember that he knew the guests were supposedly like special.
I
But
think it's one of those I think it's one of those
if you're an
cases.
angel, get out there and fight. Let's see it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cases because even when Abraham saw three people coming his way, he said, and he was outside his tent, it's like he immediately recognized that these people are divine because he immediately went down on his face and said, "My Lord, my
Yeah,
Lord God, please come and stay with me for a bit." So probably, and I mean, what we're doing is pure conjecture. We're just milling, mulling it over in our heads.
and
But
I mean, Abraham did slaughter like a bunch of people. when they took Lot. It's interesting how like Lot is always involved in some weird stuff.
Yeah, but what you forget is that the guy that Abraham, what you forget is that they were like kings fighting other kings, and the group A defeated the kings of Sodom and where Lot was staying, and took away like slaves, like took away people as slaves and things, right? Like livestock, etc. And then Abraham, who's not a king of a city, gathered his every fighting man among his servants in his household.
318.
Huh?
318 people.
Yeah, and he went and he defeated what a group of kings could not. Which is also trippy. I don't know. There's a lot of like weird lessons. You always have to be careful of what you focus on in the stories. For
But I
me,
was thinking about how I was thinking about it this morning, like stoning people.
mm, it's a
How
hard
like,
way to go, brother. Like
but it's
seriously.
like it makes is something like that fit. I know you like to update the text. Um, is it suitable for our time in 2020, 26?
Dude, there's certain, I wouldn't say stoning. Stoning is a rough. Some people I will say, look, there's a guy who killed his wife and his two daughters. His youngest daughter was 4 years old, and she was begging her father not to kill her. Now, I don't want to dampen your mood, but like a 4-year-old child, your child, and she's begging, Daddy, please don't, and you kill her. You know what? That guy doesn't go to prison when I'm around. You, dude, I don't even want to talk. Like, I will put a noose around that guy's neck, pull him up on a tree, and then have a fire set at the bottom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, for people like that, stoning is more is it's too just. It's too kind actually. And stoning isn't like quick. You get like stones are hitting you on your body, some are hitting you on your temple, but you're not dying immediately, right? I mean, people are picking stones up bigger and bigger and bigger until you can't run and now you're like injured, and then some oak just picks up like a big brick, like a big stone that he can barely lift, and he's like,
Older.
and he drops it on your head like you're an ant, and then it still doesn't do the job, so they like do it again 3-4 times until like you're extinguished. So it's a rough punishment for something like adultery. I would say it's a bit extreme, but for pedophiles and for child murderers, I say thumbs up. I say thumbs up. Even Botswana
No,
still
so
has the death penalty. I say thumbs up to that. Sorry. Like, I don't care if you
so
think it's not
yeah,
civilized. Yeah,
so no, so that's what I'm asking. Like, is it not better just to like shoot the person?
like I said, it depends on. Do you feel
What
that
is it
it's
like? Everybody must get involved and throw rocks. Because remember how they do it, right? And I don't know when they do it this way or a different way. Is like they bury you with your head up.
Ooh,
They bury your body
mm,
with only your head exposed, and then everybody throws you with stones to your head.
yeah. Um,
And they do that to women. And I mean, a lot of women have been killed like that
mm,
for various things. So that's why I say, does it have a place? How many guys is it even really happening to?
I like I said, I
Like
already told
heavy
you.
murderers.
There's some people I think um don't touch children, don't touch women. but especially if you touch children, like murder or anything like that, I say, let the wolves have him. You know, that's what I say. Like the stoning is even too kind, in my opinion, because I don't think. I mean, people like to focus on, well, the prisoner has rights. I get that, but we also have to accept that not every murder is just murder, right? There's certain murder that it violates. It like absolutely violates nature. It's more than just, I mean, when a brother slays another brother, that's terrible. But there's some instances where we know the specifics of what was done to the innocent child, right? Or a woman, and like gang rape and then continued rape for days. And then she was like tortured as well. And then she was murdered. You know what? Putting that person in prison for 30 years, you're doing that person a kindness. Like, I'm against that. I don't say that. And I also don't say just firing squad. Firing squad is quick, right? Firing squad is quick. It's too quick. You can't do that. Maybe I'm speaking out of hate, but like, you know, as a father, as a husband,
Well,
I
this is
say,
why they made the laws, right? I'm talking about like man-made laws. It's to remove the emotional aspect of it, doing things out of the emotion. So we'll go through the laws, we'll break it down, and then we'll have a jury and we'll have a judge, and based off of that decision, we'll be able to do something that isn't coming from the emotional standpoint. Um, but obviously, like, there's that one famous video where um, the lady's daughter was raped and killed by like the friend or something, or the neighbor. And then like I think it's not even in the court, might even be in the street, where the police are walking with him and the mom just pulls out a gun and just shoots the guy dead, like in front of everybody. And then she just puts her hands up like this, and the cops just like, okay, cool, calm down. They take the gun from her and they just let her do it.
yeah, because everyone intrinsic. You see, that's the thing, right?
It's a famous story.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that I understand what you're saying. The law is there to be free of passion, but the question is that always justice then? Because of course it shouldn't be revenge, but
But what
and I think
what is justice if like you're taking the person's life? If that's not enough, then like where do you draw the line? Oh, we've kept this guy alive for the last 10 years. He's been starved, he's been beaten, he's been diseased. Um, he lost his mind in like the third year. Like, at what point is it like, okay, that's ended already?
it's tough, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's tough.
Because you're using specific examples that align with you,
Yeah, of
that
course.
the things that would make you the most upset.
Yeah.
But other people might see it differently. So yeah, it's the whole thing is interesting, right? He who is without sin cast the first stone can also be seen as, no, I don't care, I'm gonna do it anyways, right? which just shows the level of the master.
Think about this though. He was Jesus interrupted people who wanted to stone a woman for adultery, right? But what would have been the story if it had been a pedophile and a murderer? Maybe people would have been like, ah, rubbish, man, and just started latting the stones. Like, you get it. But because obviously in that instance, you know, adultery is like, yes, you're a home wrecker. Yes, but
It's not, dude. It's like sin is sin, bro. It's not one that's worse than the other. Like according to the law, obviously. I'm not saying according to what I would believe it to be, right? But this is according to the word. Even if I think of a woman who's married, that is that is just as bad as doing something else, like according to the book.
yeah.
So I don't think it would have been any different.
All I can say is,
I think that was the example used because probably they were just killing a bunch of women all the time.
yeah, I think so. I think it was a very strong patriarchal society where they were getting out of hand, man. I don't know, man. All I'm saying is I pity the fool who ever tries to do anything with my family. I will stalk you, and when I catch you, you'll be praying to all the angels in heaven for a quick death. So let it just not happen. Like, don't let
Dude,
me
you'll
catch
probably
you.
notice that only lasts like 15 minutes max.
What?
That rage
Ha!
before you've completely released it.
No ways, bro.
And now you're thinking clear and like there's a bloody mess there and you're like, what have I done? And then it's not just that. Here's something people, and obviously people don't think this way or along these lines, is that the damage it does to you who has that there is the torture. When you commit any of those things, like, and you living with it, these guys can't sleep. No matter what they say, no matter what they pretend to be, it's devastating. And I even heard once, like, even the people who get killed, they open their eyes and it's like, huh, something weird just happened. I'm not sure. And then they just carry on living their lives. But the person who actually murdered them, they
Carry on living
get,
their lives
like,
after being murdered? What are you talking about? Like they just. What are you saying,
So
Mikey?
basically, like, let's use that school in Tehran.
Okay.
All those like schoolgirls got killed
Oof.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is just so pathetic how no one even talks about that, you know,
Mm.
because it's inconvenient with their truth or whatever. And so basically, they're sitting in their class, boom, get bombed. I mean, I don't even want to go into the details of some of them who like survived, like, and were trapped under rubble and all that stuff. And then when the medics came there, it got double tapped, so the medics were killed as well. But anyways, like, if you want to talk about evil,
Bro, you know? Yes. And that was the US or that was Israel?
that was the US. It was their Tomahawk missile.
How do you miss? How do you?
And no, remember that was the first. That was the first strike.
I don't know if it was the first,
very
but it was in the
first.
beginning. Yeah, it was like the.
dude, I think it was the opening strike of United States was like, I don't know, there's a lot of people who speculated, because they wrote on a missile, they wrote this is for the victims of Epstein Island, and then shot it at Israel. Uh, and then
Who wrote this is for the victims of Epstein Island? The
um,
Iranians.
exactly, they wrote it on the missile and then launched it. And so then people also saying, then they bombed the school to like show them. I don't know. It's all just dark stuff, allegedly, in my opinion. Obviously,
I think the problem is
this
that
is theoretically what I saw online.
but I think the problem is
Um,
that the people in power who are making these decisions are so removed from the consequences. You understand? Like it's just a button. You just press the button
yeah.
and then you back to dinner, laughing, having a glass of wine with your
But
mistress,
what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
so this is what this one sage was saying, that when something like that happens and like those girls get bombed, boom, they just open their eyes and they're still living their lives. They're still in their same body, like it was a dream or something. Um, but the people who actually did it, they get all that pain and suffering. Um,
You mean they
I
wake
mean,
up in
this
the
is
new
obviously just
they wake up in the new
no, and I'm talking
consciousness.
about the same body. The thing is, you've got to. It's hard to explain because first of all, I don't know. It's just like an intuition thing where I'm like, based off of everything we know about how life is and isn't, and multiple realities. Um, they wake up in a place where there isn't a war busy happening.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Now
like, oh, I had a dream that I was at school and the place got blown up. Really? That's a bad dream. Eat your breakfast. You're going to school, right?
mm,
Um, we've all had dreams where something terrible happened,
dude,
where
continue, I'll talk now.
where it's like, but it's this life that you're living now, except it's a scene that has taken place where there's like a car accident or something.
Dude.
And then you wake up and you're like, yo, thank goodness that was a dream. Now, who says that that actually isn't the thing that actually happened?
Yeah. Well, look, I would say if that is the case, it would be a great comfort to me actually, because then I would feel like because like I told you this last time, like literally last week, I was like, if we can step back and see this life as one of many lives in a continuum, then we wouldn't see death as so final, and we wouldn't grieve it the way that we do, right? We would focus on I will miss him or her, but it's okay. They've moved on to the next phase. Of course, it gives you great comfort. I mean, for me at least, I know there's lots of people who don't see it that way. Ach, nonsense. This is the only life we have. Especially if you're purely in this physical world and you're like an atheist or an anti-theist, I pity you because you must actually feel miserable because in your mind, these 80 seasons are all there is and it will never ever be again and it's over. Then mourn. Like if that's how I really felt, I would mourn every day because it's like I'm born to die. Um, and then I want to share
Dude,
this
most
dream
of
with,
those guys are alcoholics and
right?
stuff.
I had this
Most of them are on the bottle, dude.
I had this crazy dream
Yeah,
where
go for it.
It was super realistic, hyper realistic. And I was in a dry place, you know, like yellow soil, even, you know, lots of yellow, red sand and brick and stuff like that. But like modern kind of, you know, like it was like maybe the 60s, somewhere in the Middle East or something. And I was in a suburb kind of place, but I'm not saying it was the Middle East. And I was like running with this gun, running, standing behind, like I was running across this little open space, um, to kind of try and hide behind this wall. And we're in some kind of an armed conflict, and this bomb goes off. Poof, and it's a massive bomb, not just a regular bomb, almost like a nuclear bomb type thing. And I saw this mushroom cloud coming, and it was the most hyper realistic feeling ever. I could feel the force of the air pushing me back, and I was flying through the air before I was incinerated. And when I woke up, I was like, geez, was that a past or future experience, or what was that? Like, that was so detailed, like no other dream. Like, it was so detailed. Even if I tried to think about what it might be like to be caught in an explosion of that size, I could not have done a job that well. That's how
Yeah.
realistic that was. And I'm just saying that because you said, who
Yeah,
says that
so you see
dreams
how you
aren't?
woke up and you're like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah,
Now, what the sage was saying was that that is what happens to all the people who are innocent. They just open their eyes like, oh, that was a weird dream. Um, and it did, like, yeah, like you said, it gave me comfort as well. So even the 4-year-old that you were talking about literally just woke up. And then her dad was there giving her breakfast, and he wasn't a murderer. And she was like, I had a weird dream or something. Like, but that guy who did it, I mean,
of course.
the, like, what he's afflicted by will follow him for lifetimes.
He's getting married again. He's still in prison, but there's some woman who's decided to
It's,
marry him.
yeah, a crazed person.
Crazy person, right? Like, oh, dude. Anyway.
But I want to tell you about the dream I had like last week. And so I'm driving a uh, left, what do you even call them? Left
S-
wheel drive
Yeah.
car. So like they have in the States and stuff. But it's got the top down. It has like this classic look to it, like a Cadillac or something. And I'm driving it almost on like, like Route 66 or whatever it's called in like the desert, the Nevada desert. And I don't know, I'm taking this turn, but I'm going like very fast. And I turn and the car lifts. And like it tips over onto my side, obviously. And I just smash my head against the road.
Mm.
Boom. And it just all goes black like that. And I'm like, oh man, I did open my eyes a little bit, and I just like this pool of blood is here, and I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna die. I just had like the fear of death, but obviously it's crazy because when you're doing the inner work, all of a sudden you're like, yes, I can release the fear of dying, right?
Mm.
Then all of a sudden I hear people talking, and I look up, and I'm on a set, right? And there's the director's like cut, and it's like what? So it was I was doing a scene in a movie, and I crashed the car like that, um, And then I get out and I'm talking to the director, and he's looking at it on the monitors, and he's like, let's run it again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that again.
Mm.
Like, because it was so real. The experience
Yeah.
was so real. And then I did it again. But it's so weird how it worked. Like, I'm actually crashing the car and I'm actually hitting my head against the road and I'm bleeding out. But then somehow it just like flips to it's just a scene in a movie. And then there was all this other stuff happening after that. But I thought that was quite interesting how like I actually had to experience it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this again, man. That was like I'm fine now, but that was hectic. Imagine tipping the whole car and just ding,
Mm.
clattering against the road, and then it's like, oh, this is the scene.
Mm.
Uh, it was very interesting, and then it went on from there. Like there was all these other little dramas that took place after that. There was this like Arab girl. It was quite beautiful. Me and her were just kind of like not arguing, but we were having like back and forths about I don't know who she was, like an AD or something. And but I was obviously the actor.
Mm.
And yeah, we had a couple of issues, and then I remember like towards the end, we were all like friendly and stuff. And I was even attracted to her. I don't know, it was sometimes they just become weird, where it's like, okay, this is just living now. you know?
Yeah.
Like this just feels like I'm living because I told you when you're doing the meditations and stuff all the time, it's like Paul says, pray ceaselessly. Um, when you go into dreams, you know that you are sleeping in your bed. And it's very hard for me to always like explain that to people. They'll be like, what do you mean? It's like, no, even when I'm in the dream and I'm just letting it play out, I'm not trying to do my own thing. I'm just going along with the story that's in there. Like I know I can probably just fly away or something. But no, there was this one, I'll get back to what I'm saying. I remember I I closed my eyes, right? And then I'm like, I can't sleep. I open my eyes and I'm sitting on this boat. And I'm like, whoa, in the face.
Ah.
Because it always surprises me, Like imagine lying in your bed, you close your eyes, and then
Open them again.
it feels like you're restless. You're like, I can't sleep. And then when you open your eyes, you're in the scene. And you're
Mm.
like, whoa, this is crazy. But you smile because you're like, okay, I'm in the phase.
Yeah.
So in that moment, there will always be a scene that's taking place.
Yeah.
So I was in this, dude, on this huge river, like this huge river.
On a boat.
I'm with like a raft type of thing. The guy's literally got the paddle, this dude. I'm with my brother, and me and him are wearing the strangest outfits I've ever seen before. Like, I remember thinking about it. Like, I couldn't even come up with this even if I wanted to, like what you just said, the detail of the outfit. And it still makes me think sometimes, like, I wonder, like, what that place was, right? So we're going down this river, and there's these other like fishing boats, and this guy that we're going with, he has like a bomb or something, dude. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but he's like trying to plant the bomb by these like other fishermen.
Okay.
right? Um, and so that's why we're going along like that. And then, but when we see it, I tell my brother, "Just get out of here. This guy's crazy." Then he's like, "Yeah." So we jump off the boat because we're close, like to this one side, and we swim across. And then, boom! There's like a big explosion there. Not crazy big,
Yeah,
but
but
this it's like drawing attention now. But we on the side of this riverbank, and then there's like this building which is kind of, think about like a small house, but like think about four walls, and two of the walls of the one of like the corner that's pointing towards us is gone. So like you can look right in and it's just
oh,
like an
okay.
open floor.
Yeah.
And so like we walking there, and I'm noticing like the garb, like all the people are wearing these like these same like outfits
Are they like, it's
essentially.
like old school, it's like modernistic,
Like
it's
think about like Middle Eastern type of garb that's kind of like mixed with like Star Wars.
hmm, okay.
Like these
Yeah.
robes and like these square, it's almost like these like square hat things. Um and then I remember I was like walking, and in this like little house thing on the floor there was all this litter, and I realized like, oh, we had like some type of dump where there's like poor people.
Hmm. Poor.
And I started noticing items like litter on the floor, and it all was reminding me of like home, basically. You know,
This home.
magazines. Yeah, this home. And then I was like, oh, yes, I'm in the phase. And I was like, yo, I actually forgot. I got
Yo.
so immersed in it that I forgot that I was in the phase. And then obviously that was a mistake because then I like started getting pulled out. Um, and then I woke up, but that was always like very interesting to
I
experience something like that.
I think I'm gonna try go I'm gonna not try, I'm gonna go into the face tonight.
Dude, you
I am.
always, every time I mention it, that's what you say.
Yeah, but the thing
I
is,
had a weird conversation, dude. Okay, maybe I'll tell you after.
my
Because
thing
I'm
is that
obviously like,
the thing is you have to, something that people have to know is when to go into the phase, it can be as simple as you have to have the intention, right? Like if you're lying in bed and you say to yourself, now I am going to go to sleep and I will wake up in the phase. Boom, you can do it just like that. You might not even need all the techniques of like, you know, trying to catch
rolling
yourself,
out and
yeah, rolling
yeah.
out and all of that. But you have to have the intention. If you don't say that, it'll be difficult. I know you obviously you've done it so often that now it just catches you by surprise. Um, but
I
I'm not
told you I
there.
got bored of it, dude. Eventually you do like all the craziest things you can think about. Just think about that. So many times that it gets boring, dude. You know? Like you can only bang so many models and stuff, before you just like, okay, I'm bored of this now. Um and so yeah, so I'm at the point now where I'm really enjoying having conversations.
In the
But the
phase.
weirdest thing happened. Yeah, like where I'm actually just talking to these people and like you're asking them questions and like what do they know, and I'm at the point now where I'm trying to like figure out how like the worlds are connected. Is there a way that I can somehow connect that to this, and like I'm like trying to do that experimentation. So the other day was the weirdest thing ever. I won't mention the chick's name, but it was a great time spent.
I can see you're reminiscing.
Anyways, no, dude, it was just, obviously it had all that other stuff involved, but it was just very you're like, dude, you know when you like you're holding someone and just like sitting there and like you can smell the perfume, like everything is just so real that you're like, oh yeah, I forgot this is the phase. So I know in this life she has like 3 kids already. Okay. And I've known her since I was in preschool. Maybe that's giving away too much. But anyways, she always seems to appear in the phase for me, right?
Mm.
And so there is a point where I'm just like speaking to her, and man, it's just how vivid it is in my mind. It's literally like a memory. Anyways, and I'm speaking to her, and she says the weirdest thing ever. Nobody's ever said this to me, where it seemed like they were conscious.
Yeah,
A
oh,
lot of
like
the
no one in
times
the
it
phase
was,
has ever said that to you.
yeah, like they haven't spoke to me like they were. It's hard to explain, man. Because sometimes it feels like bots. Like
Mm.
in my mind, I control what they do. So they have like the bit of the free will, but I can just make you do anything with a thought.
Mm.
So I'm just like staring at it. We on this like lawn. There's like some type of event, like a festival thing, and I'm just on this lawn talking to her. And I don't know how long it had been at that point, because obviously when you wake up, a lot of the pieces start disappearing eventually, and you're left with like key moments. And she turns to me and like we're talking. And I'm like, yeah, I say, this is a great, I'm having a good time. And she turns to me and she says, yeah, but you know, where it would really be good is if we can do it there where it counts, like in real life.
Yeah.
And I was like, what did you just say? She's like, yeah, in the world where you're sleeping, type of thing. And I was like, you know about that? Like I was so shocked, dude. I was so shocked. I was like, you know about that? She's like, yeah, of course. And I was, and then I started speaking to her. Now I'm speaking to her like it's her, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but don't you have kids now and stuff? Like, and then she said something like, they'll be fine. And I was like,
Ah,
okay,
that's creepy.
this is weird, dude. I was like, I'd never experienced that before. And this only happened last week. Um, and think about how long I've been doing it now. It's becoming, it's very strange, dude. And I remember that whole time I was in the phase, you couldn't tell the difference. Like, where you've had such a long day that you're like, I don't care what happens now. I've had a great time. You just lie in your arms and close your eyes and you're just at peace.
Mm.
That's how long I spent in the phase that day. Hours and hours and hours with her. And then to hear that, I was kind of spooked about it. Um, anyways, like that's why I say, dude, every time I tell you about the phase, you're like, oh, I'm gonna do it. And it's like, dude, you just have to do it, man. I
Yeah.
I wanna hear other people's stories.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the point? I lived through mine. Like I don't why should I have to like tell people? It
Yeah.
just sounds like a one-sided thing,
Okay. Okay. I'm
you
gonna
know.
make a
And it's
commitment.
not like you haven't done it before.
Yeah. I know. I
That's
know.
the, that's the craziest part to me. Is like you had a taste of the pie and you were like, "Ah, I'm good." And it's like, "What?" Like you're literally a god in there.
For me, it's I told you what it
Like-
is. Like I think that it would be a great way to because Samael from the Universal Gnostic Church, Samael Aunwo. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I've only ever read his books. You know, he basically describes that as the place where you can literally study at the feet of great masters. Like you can ask, I don't want to say summon, but you can ask a great master to appear and you can actually be taught there. And that's what my main interest would be. I mean, the flying around, going on like a boat, traveling the world, that would be crazy nice. But for me, it would be just like summoning a master or asking a master to appear and just being like, yo, let's have a serious talk. I have some questions, man. And I think I'll be honest, I think I lost sight of that. I've for some time now, I've been focusing more on my goals here in the material realm. And
The thing is,
I don't want to neglect that though. I don't want to lose that.
when lose what?
No, the desire to actually develop myself spiritually, right? Because it all
Oh,
began
yeah.
I mean, the reason I started reading Samael's work is because I had that deep thirst. I was even in mail contact, like email contact. I was at the point where I'd read every book of his, and I just found like a contact, and I was like, mailed them, and I wrote them, like, opened my heart. I'm like, please, like, I want to learn more. Like, how can I do it? And they sent me
Accept
more,
me into the cult.
and they sent me more books, to read, and um, it's deep. I don't know, like how much of it
What I'm
is,
saying
yeah.
is, before, like, you have to go through all those other things. To go there directly and then just be like, oh, I want to talk to one of the masters, you can do that, but don't rob yourself of. I mean, I remember the one time there was this long, and I mentioned it to you before, where I was, ah, man, dude, I've been to such great parties in the phase, like, and you've been there, like this, like everybody I know is always there, you know. And I remember this one party, it had like these infinity pools at these, like, it kind of looked like Miami or something. And I just walked in there, dude, and I saw people like flashing cameras and stuff. And I'm just like waving at everybody. And anything I think about just happens like straight away, you know. Um, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to a VIP area. And then all of a sudden, it's like you see these steps appear, and then like I'm in the area and I'm grabbing champagne and I'm drinking, and all my friends are there. And then the next thing, I'm like, there's like a bunch of like chicks in the pool. And I just like, boom. I just like sit back, and now I'm in the pool from there, just like chilling. And then I remember grabbing this one blondie, like grabbing her hand. I'm like, let's go. Let's just go with you, dude. So now I'm walking through, and now like you look down, and all of a sudden you've got like your fresh clothes on. And she was like, "Where's your car?" And I was like, "Oh, it's over there." But I had to think about it for a second, and then immediately there was the red Lambo, like that, because that's what I imagined. I was like, red Lambo, and then in my hand the keys are all of a sudden there. And then I just drove with her down this long road, like, dude, in that Lambo. It was crazy, dude. So you want to do that stuff, you know,
Yeah.
like you want to get that out your system, so that you can be like, hey, you know what? The worldly things don't interest me anymore. I'll even say, even at this point, like I said, I'm very interested in the conversations now. Like, what answers can I get for certain things, right? And
Yeah. Uh,
yeah, like what answers can I get? And then I might even find out that chick who keeps appearing could even be a master, right?
mm,
I've been waiting for you.
to get out of.
I've always, like, yeah, to get it out of your system or whatever. Because I promise you, it's always her, dude. It's always her.
Mm,
And whenever I see her, it's like it's the best time ever.
mm.
There was even one time I was like a professional football player, um, and that's a whole different story.
Yeah. Dude, magnificent, bro. But that was nice, man. I no more promises. I'm just gonna do it, and I'll report back. But for now, I think we've reached the end of our chat.
What? How long was this one? This half,
Like
I
two
should
hours,
say.
20 minutes. First one was like an hour or something.
Yeah. Uh, okay, so yeah, I mean it's probably our normal time, actually longer. But anyways, it's fine. Let's do a 2 minutes, and
And
we'll
pray
wrap
for
it
me.
up
I'm
there.
gonna go to the phase.
Pray for me.
Mm.
Like I just appear there and I drag you out of your
That'll be
slumber
perfect.
into the
That'll be
phase.
great. That'll be great.
And then
Yeah.
you like, oh, let's get the cars and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, wait, huh? Why? I just want to, like, I
Uh,
take a nap in the phase, dude.
yeah.
I just,
Well,
I wish people could know that you don't, this idea of, oh, you sleep a third away of your life is absolute rubbish, dude. It's not supposed to be like that.
you think
Because
that every
guess what?
day? You think that
Dude,
every
you
day
don't ever sleep, dude.
I was saying so you feel like every day we're actually just suffering amnesia. It's because we're not.
You're not tuned in.
Yeah.
Like, basically, you feel like you slept all those 8 hours or whatever people sleep, which is insane to me. But, anyways, 2 nights in a row, I only slept 2 hours and I was fresh for the whole day until I slept again. But when I'm in the phase and I'm doing all those things and I know my body, quote unquote, my body is in the bed, I know it's getting perfect rest.
Mm.
And then when I wake up in the morning, I have all these memories of all the things that happened, but I'm so refreshed. It's like, I feel well rested. Um, and then you know, the sleep dream ends and the awake dream begins, because this is just the awake dream.
Mm.
And I know when this ends, guess what? Oh, hey, that was just a dream. Now I'm in
Mm.
like some other thing. Maybe even the exact same person as me.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a
you
very
know what I
exciting
mean?
thought. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you
Dude,
mean.
life is actually so epic. But
Ah,
like I
ah,
said,
oh man,
when,
I had a crazy dream, man. I was a black
yeah.
guy.
No, but think about it this way. When you do the work and then you wake up and now you're actually in this like penthouse or something, and you wake up and you're like, man, I had a dream that I was broke. That's crazy. And you go stand on your balcony overlooking some town. You're like, but I guess I did learn some things. But yeah, imagine.
Mm.
And all of this stress, all of this stuff over here doesn't even mean anything, you know?
That's awesome
Throughout
stuff.
heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
Mm.
Gojo Satoru.
Totally.
Right.
Jujutsu
Even
Kaisen.
Vivekananda said it. He's like, when you reach the end of the line, you'll realize there was only I alone. But
Amen.
yeah, let's end it there with the 2 minutes.
Perfect note. Perfect note for a 2 minute.
Thank you. Thank you.